All right, here we go. That's the wrong thing. There it is. Boom! What up, everybody? How are y'all doing? Welcome back to welcome to episode 7. Not welcome back, but Cross Your Bow podcast with me. I'm, of course, your host, Sir Vital Mike K. With me tonight is my special guest, my extra special guest, quotes, Mr. ohjeezums. What's up, OJ? How you doing, man?
Good as always, man.
Yeah, well, tonight we're going to talk about a little bit of the news, and then we'll go into some mentalities for the new players, what they need to get into, and then what does it take to be the number one battleship player in the world. Here with ohjeezums tonight. So what you been working on lately, man?
Oh God, nothing.
In the game?
Really, I mean, I started working down the Japanese cruiser line, because that's pretty much all I got left is cruisers and DDs to work down. I've got the Tier 9 German DD. I got the Yu Yang, got the Shimakaze.
Good boat.
So I got to start working down the cruiser lines to get to Des Moines, but that's just pretty much it. I got all the battleships except for the Kurfürst. And
you're not missing nothing.
So
Republic is pretty solid. I like it.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen it played, and it can be played well. I think in the right hands, it's going to be something insane.
It is,
especially after this. Especially after the battleship rework for the armor. I think it's going to be changed. It's going to be a big difference.
Man, that's all I can say about that right now because I have not gotten into any of that information. So I'm not gonna.
I haven't actually seen it myself. I'm just, like I said, I'm just waiting to see the actual.
Now, is it battleship rework or is it the rework for the battleship shells on armor?
It's the rework for the armor. So that's what I've heard. That's what I've seen. I'm just waiting to see the actual stats come out of Wargaming first before I can.
Yeah, before we can say, hey.
Before we say, let's pull
hey,
this back and
listen here, big guy. Let me tell you what's about to happen to our boats. We're going to be useless anymore.
Let's just go ahead and go back to beta because you have fucked this game beyond recognition. It is beyond that. You have foobarred it.
I haven't seen too many things that are encouraging out of Wargaming with some of their updates coming up. But the biggest one, start off the first deal of the news, the carrier beta, open test beta is out now. Did you get accepted for that?
No, I did not.
Yeah, I didn't get accepted either.
No, I don't get any beta invites anymore. I'm on a banned list.
I didn't. I applied for it, but I didn't think I was going to get involved with it. But this is one thing. Like I usually don't do betas or any of the test servers because I want to experience it with everybody else that does experience it. And if I'm playing it beforehand, then I kind of lose a little bit of interest in it. Okay, I've already done that, so I tend to stay away from it. This one, for one particular reason that I wanted to get in on this beta, and that was the dots. They've thoroughly shifted the damage from CVs into more dots, and I feel that more dots is not the answer for the game, especially on the battleship side of it, because if you put in more dots, you're going to have to adjust something like the damage control party, make it reload faster, make the immunities longer, something, because we're on fires. We counted up one game. I was on 19 fires. And
wow.
and two and three fires that I was getting set on were single volleys immediately after my immunity was done. And those are always the most frustrating part about battleships.
Yeah, that's what I've been trying to talk about on my stream without, so I took 2 weeks off of drinking, just didn't drink for 2 weeks, especially on stream, just to be like, all right, well, now I'm sober. Here's how you would rather, actually play a battleship, not go balls to the walls like I do. But then you see the amount of people that complain they complain about the way you're playing.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, well, I'm at a 77% win rate overall now. For the progress, if you look at my actual progress, it's just insanity.
Right. Yeah, you guys, you're going nuts.
Want me played back, but not that way. But you want me more forward. But then you complain when I complain about fire damage and shit like that.
Yeah.
And how the repair party works.
Yeah.
So, yeah, no, it's just a loss situation because the cruiser players are the overwhelming majority of stupid. And unfortunately, as we've seen throughout societies across the world and throughout history, is that stupid people control the narrative. So just keep that in mind.
I think that so with this CV rework that they're testing out, I would encourage you people out there that did get accepted to this thing, take those rockets out there and go drop them on a battleship and see how many fires that you get in a game. If you're getting 12 to 15 fires or 20 fires on a CV, you're getting too many. If you're dropping bombs to set fires, and how many floods, how many dots are actually out there? And even if you do that and you do drop a rocket on there and you set 2 fires on a battleship, he's going to hit his repair party. You wait 20 seconds, you fly your planes back in for the next squad, and now he's on fire again, and that's permanent. There's nothing you can do. I want you guys to go out there and absolutely slaughter battleships, and just so we can sit there and say battleships have no chance, and maybe they will do something about our damage control party, or making fire prevention actually worthwhile. I'm sorry, three places of being on fire still doesn't mean dick if you're on fire all three places the entire damn game. So they either got to fix it or they need to make it cheaper, because it's not worth it at 4 points for me. I don't know about you.
Yeah. And I'm going to go ahead and add on to what you're saying. And the fact comes down to, even if you have a Montana, full AA spec Montana, and it's the only battleship in the game with decent fucking anti-air at tier 10, right? Even if you have that, now instead of having limited amount of planes coming at you, this is an unlimited amount that will not stop.
Yeah.
This isn't, I've only got to shoot down these planes. Maybe he's going to leave me the fuck alone. Well, that's even if you're running AA spec. If you're running AA spec now, you're breaking yourself.
You're still not shooting down enough to. You're more often than not shooting down planes on the way out than on the way in, and I've noticed that a lot with any full AA spec cruiser. Even as I was playing against a Midway and I was in the Demonis and I was full AA spec and I hit my button, I shot down 2 planes on the way in, 6 planes on the way out, and then I get hit for 26,000 damage on AP bombs.
That's
and
so
I'm sorry, but this is supposed to be the pinnacle of AA, and I shoot down 8 total planes.
The point is, yeah, it should be.
And I shoot down 8 total planes. What in the hell is going on? And so, I mean, like, what are we supposed to do? So this is the part where AA is really inconsistent, and I know that there's supposed to be an AA rework involved. I'm not sure if that's in this thing or not. But until I see the AA rework, I'm kind of reserving my judgment on the whole CV rework aspect of this whole thing. But for me, from what it seems right now, they're guaranteeing damage. It's a low damage with the torpedoes, but the high flooding chance, high fire chance with the bombs, high fire chance with the rockets. And I know you and I both know people are idiots. So what are the rockets supposed to be there for? They're supposed to go in there and they're supposed to hunt these DDs, and they're supposed to do massive damage to these DDs and set them on fire, knock out all their crap, and that's the way that they deal with the DDs. But you and me both know that there's going to be those CV players out there like, why would I go after that guy when I could get 800,000 damage off of this Yamato sitting over here if I can set him on fire 3 times? With 1 volley or 2 volleys or whatever it is, and then I still have 2 more squads, 2 more strike squadrons that's flying around. Wait for him to hit his repair button, go back in there, jump on him again, set him on permanent fires, and now I'm burning him for at least 2 fires, which is 40% of your hit points. I'm like, I don't get it, man. I don't get it. I don't understand why they would do that. So until they rework the AA, I'm gonna reserve my judgment. But I definitely have some major concerns about the way this thing is working, and not just for battleship instances, just for everything overall. Too many dots in the game at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, there's already too many dots to begin with, and then they're adding in an equation that they did not study properly. I feel like the developers don't even play their own game because if they did, carriers would just be removed. I think they would have been removed a week after they were initiated.
Well, I know for a fact that they do play their game. Knowing several people, I mean, Kami Samurai, he's now working for Wargaming here. I know it's not developer standpoint, but he does play the game constantly all the time. And all these other people,
but the developers themselves don't. The developers literally all right. So here's how they balance the game. They just pull stats, and it's a broad range of stats. It's not like the top 5%, which I'm nowhere near.
No,
it's everybody's stats, which isn't fair to anybody at all, because then you get broken ass ships like the Worcester, the Harugumo, carriers being uncontrollable.
I think there's a fundamental flaw in this as well, as that the super testers. I mean, this is supposed to go out to these super testers who are supposed to have the best interest or whatever. And I've noticed that a lot of these guys, I've talked to super testers, and they are unwilling to number one, they can't really talk too much about anything at all because of their NDA, and I respect their NDA. But there's some comments that I've heard from super testers saying, battleships, who cares about a battleship? This is good for destroyers. This is good for cruisers, and they're like, battleships deserve to get every punishment on them, as opposed to having an open mind about things. Okay, this is going to.
That's because the super testers, and I'm going to throw them all under the bus. I know two of them, and they're gonna hit me for this for a little while. It'll probably last about a week, but all of the super testers are not good players. There's not a single player that's actually above 70% win rate overall.
I knew one super tester
is fucking wrong.
That had the best interest overall in the game. That I'm not gonna call him out, but I know him. And if you want to know why the Scharnhorst is what it is now, just remember that the Scharnhorst was a lot stronger during the super test, and because of what this guy and his little team that he went with did, is the reason the Scharnhorst got nerfed. And Scharnhorst is still really, really, really strong, but it was a lot stronger during super testing. And it needs super testing needs people that have the best interest for the game and not self-serving interests.
The same people let the Worcester and the Harugumo through.
That is.
And the Stalingrad. Don't forget the Stalingrad. They were able to super test the Stalingrad.
It was,
the MOSFA change to the bow, where a Yamato 10 kilometers away and under, you still can't bend. You still can't fucking pin the bow.
Yeah, you can't. The only thing that I know that can pin the bow is an IFHE Henry, because the IFHE Henry.
Yeah, that's it.
With 51 millimeters of armor pin, that's the only thing that you can pin that bow.
That is some new level of stupid.
That's a boat that is a very stale gameplay. It's a very sit still gameplay, and I don't understand why people enjoy that boat, because it's so sit still and do nothing.
Because it's trolly. They can just bow tank a Yamato. Why the fuck would you want to play anything else when you can bow tank a Yamato? If you're bow tanking a Yamato, think about it. You're bow tanking everything else, and you're just gonna bounce shit that shouldn't be bounced, while you get to punish them.
And it's funny because these same super testers allowed something like the Salem through, and the Salem is a very strong. It's a Demonis clone with actionable radar, and I say actionable radar because you have to risk yourself to go into that 8.5 kilometer range to throw your radar out to be effective with it.
But nobody plays like that. There's no reason to.
No, but that is the most balanced boat at tier 10 with radar, because you have to risk yourself to use this radar, right? I'd
say it's balanced with radar, but
exactly,
its armor rating is trash.
Well, the difference between that is,
even if it's broadside.
If the difference between that is that balance in this instance doesn't necessarily mean good, quote unquote good, because people want to be able to do everything and not take any damage, and that's one of the biggest issues that I have with this game. I know I play a destroyer most of the time. I play a battleships most of the time. If I'm within 10 kilometers of somebody, I'm expecting to take a big chunk of damage.
Right, at least a big chunk. Even if you don't kill them, at least a big chunk.
Exactly.
That's not happening anymore. Even with the Des Moines that's up close to me, as long as he's angled right, I might get 10K off him, but that's about it. That's not even a big chunk anymore.
Yeah.
That's 1/4.
But you said the developers take there's something else that I want to make a big point here is that you said the developers, they take all these statistics and numbers.
Yep.
I am a very non-statistical person when it comes to this game. I don't care what anybody says about the Fletcher or the Chung Mu. The Chung Mu guns hit harder than the Fletcher's guns, and that is not from stat-wise. And that is not from stats. That is from playing as the Chung Mu versus Fletcher's. That is playing the Fletcher versus
I kept Chung Mu for that reason.
Those guns feel like they hit harder. Oh well, that's statistically the same. They're exactly the same. And guys, get in there and play the game and make your own opinions on these things. I personally, I have some very strong opinions about this game, and I know OJ, you've played this game for a long time, and you have some very strong opinions about this game as well, and that's all from your experience. So throw stats out the window, and just feel the game, game, and play the game, and play it with an open mind. But then make up your own opinions on it, and don't listen to other people. Make your own mind. Play your own shit.
Back in 2015, when I got the call that I was going to TwitchCon for the Seattle TwitchCon shit.
Right.
I was really happy, man. I was excited because I was excited for the game at that point. I thought we were headed to something amazing. But as Tommy Boy says, that's when I learned that the devs don't care what you think.
Yeah.
They've got their own data mining. They got their own stats. They got their own shit. That's all they look at.
Yeah.
They don't give a fuck what anybody's actually saying.
Yeah.
So the reason why cruisers have become so strong is because you got shitheads and just terrible players that have gone broadside for so fucking long against battleship under 12 kilometers.
Mm-hmm.
To ships that they should not be going broadside to.
Yeah.
And getting deleted. And then not only are they complaining on the forums and then the Water Worship subreddit, but it's also reflecting the stats. Those shitty players are reflecting on the stats that Worgen pulls. They don't pull just the top 5%. They pull from the entire pool.
Right.
As long as you have 25 battles or more, that's the pool they're pulling from, which is not right. And then the broad range is what they do. When they nerf and buff certain shell types, it's a broad range across the tiers. It's not, well, this tier needs some help.
Tier 9.
Tier 7 really needs the fucking help right now.
Dude, Tier 7 needs battleship help. The battleships are
Tier
terrible.
8 needs huge help.
Yeah.
Because they're constantly going up against 9 and 10s.
Yeah. Well, check this out. I'm a big proponent of ranked. I love ranked season. I think ranked season is probably the most excited I get about this game, and the most frustrated, and the most I want to throw keyboards against the wall because of stupidity. But it keeps me in the game, and that's what I enjoy. Tier 7 and Tier 10 have got to be the worst ranked season games because there's not a balance between all of the ships. Tier 10 is very cruiser heavy.
I'm going to agree with it. Yeah, 100%.
Cruisers at Tier 10 and cruisers at Tier 7 are the strongest in the game. Tier for tier, the battleships at Tier 7 blow. Let's be fair, they're terrible. Regardless of what anybody feels about any one of these, they cannot compare to what the cruisers do at Tier 7. Same thing with the Yamato, Montana, the GK, the Republic. The Tier 10 cruisers are so much stronger than everything else at that tier.
Yeah, very
so
strong.
These two tiers cannot be competitive. So where do we go? You look at Tier 8, everything is pretty even. You got strong battleships. You got strong cruisers.
It's just Tier 8.
Right. You got strong destroyers. There's one caveat to that. This is the Lo Yang with its hydro, but without that hydro, that Lo Yang is a piece of trash. Go to Tier 6. The battleships are strong, the cruisers are very strong, and the destroyers are all strong. It's all a balanced tier. At Tier 7, you got a Colorado. Too slow to get into position early. You got what do you got? You got a Scharnhorst, good boat, But weak guns, you're not going to consistently get the damage that you need on these cruisers when you have just a split second. You got a Nagato, which everybody argues, it's the most accurate at tier 7. I disagree, because when I play that thing, I get 40,000 damage one game and 140 the next game. It's too inconsistent for my taste. Knives and Owl can't hit the broadside of a barn.
That's another reason why RNG needs to go too. RNG, it plays too much of a favorite.
It needs to at least
scale back.
Shrink
I'd
it
be
down.
happy
Yeah,
to just scale it back. Just scale it back. Probably, I would even say 37 to 40%. If you scaled RNG back 37, 40%, and let players' skill take over, I think we would see much better games and a lot more fun overall for everybody.
Well, I have a number for you. 70-30. It's 30% skill and 70% RNGesus in this game. And that 30%
where
rolls,
we're at.
That 30% rolls on your positioning, number one. Number two, where you're putting your guns, where you pull the trigger at, basically. And then insert another 10% of nonsense here that you want to consider yourself skillful. Fine. And then the rest of it is all RNG based. Are you going to get a fire? Are you not going to get a fire? I have Worcester games, my friend. 150 hits with one fire.
Yeah.
And that's all HE. That's all in the superstructure. One fire on 150 hits. So that's RNGesus. That's RNG at to its T. Are you going to pin this guy? Are you hitting the Citadel? Are you overpinning the Citadel? Which I've done it before. You've done it before, but it doesn't happen from according to them.
Yeah, apparently you can't overpin a Citadel.
Yeah,
and we've seen it happen. I mean, you and me especially, and then our viewers have definitely seen it.
Right. So so either way, so there's that aspect. All right. So we went off on a really long tangent. Let's get into some more news here before we go any further here. So the everybody knows the update is ready for tomorrow. The 7.10 update. The things that you can do today are the Halloween event that starts right now. It's the Saving Transylvania. If you get 5 stars on it for the first time, you get 10 camos. Then 3 of the pumpkin boxes, the standard pumpkin boxes. Then there is on the 24th the Sunray Into the Darkness, which is the second one from last year. There's 2 versions of that. There's a regular mode, and then there's a hard mode. If you get 5 stars for the first time during the hard mode, you still get those same 10 camos, the 3 pumpkin camos. When you do the hard mode, you get 10 more camos, 3 boxes. You get 300 doubloons and a day of premium time. And that starts on the 24th, and then the 31st is the submarines when they actually come in. So once you get all those finished, you'll be able to actually play the submarines, because there's 5 subs that you can get, and you have to earn them through doing these events. It'll be interesting to see. Plus, you also, once you do the Terror of the Deep, you get the same 10 camos, 3 boxes, and when you do the hard mode, you get the 10 camos, 3 boxes, and then 1 day of premium time and 300 doubloons. So there you go. That's the new Halloween event for this year. Yo, I tell you what, man, I enjoy these Halloween events. They do a pretty damn good job of them. The whole ambiance that they do, the camos that they put out. I mean, it's something different. It's something taking you out of the normal games that we do. So it's always a nice break once a year to get that, or when they do the other event at April Fool's Day.
I guess I'm kind of nostalgic. You know, the first 2 years, each Halloween event was different. I felt like those were a lot of fun.
They are fun,
but
and they're bringing it back, and then they're adding the third set, man. So
yeah, I mean, so we're basically doing the same thing over again, and I think people are going to get really bored of it very quickly. I'm hoping not, but
you mean like Arms Race?
Dude, Arms Race, I think I played a total of 2 games, and I think that was the average overall throughout the entire server. So
I played 5 or 6. I think I played a handful, but it got to the point where I was using flags for like barely any rewards, so I just kind of quit playing it. That's just on me, though. I'm not sure what I can only speak for myself.
Yeah, no, the rewards were not good at all.
Right.
But I mean, other than that, I mean, I'm still happy. At least they're doing Halloween events. They're still doing Halloween camos and flags and stuff like that. So
well, they're giving back. They don't usually give back very often, but when they do, I suggest everybody take advantage of it if they can, because they really don't give away a whole lot of crap. Guys, we're sitting here talking with ohjeezums. You guys can find them over at twitch.tv/ohjeezums or over on Twitter at ohjeezums. If you guys have any questions for myself or ohjeezums, please preface them in the chat with at SirVenomIK or at ohjeezums, and then we will approach them. Or if there's a mod here, you can type it to the mod, and then they will send it to me at the end for the question and answer portion. So if you guys do have comments, please send them, private message them to me, private message them to OJ, and we will.
No, don't do that.
All right, send them to me, and I'll send them to me, and we will address them. Or if you have any comments or concerns or anything like that, please send them to me in a private message here, and I will address those toward the end of the show. So the next thing starts tomorrow, bro. This is one I'm kind of stoked about. The fucking Tier 5 Sprint ranked season. I'm not too thrilled about Tier 5, but I am thrilled about having another ranked season.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, not because of the ranked season or because of the tier. I'm looking forward to it because the player base that hasn't reached Tier 10, the ones that want to be in a competitive environment and learn the game, are going to have a fucking chance finally.
Yeah.
I'm happy for that. They need that competitive chance, that competitive learning experience to be able to get better at the game overall. And it's going to help the player base, especially the shitty players in Tier 10 that everybody complains about now. Those are the players that are going to learn something in this competitive mode.
They won't learn nothing. They didn't learn nothing.
Then we should ban them.
They're not gonna learn squat. Let me tell you why. Because
I think a lot of the new players will, though. The people that haven't reached Tier 10 to be able to play those competitive modes.
There you go. I will agree with. That I will agree with. There's some people out there that there is no hope for. There's absolutely no hope for some of these people. And everybody knows who we're talking about because you see them all the time. If you're on my channel, you hear me complaining about this particular clan or this particular individual. Those people will never learn anything because they already think they know it all. And you can't say anything to them.
Probably War Beastie in every Brazilian clan, right?
Well, I'm not gonna. No, it's not War Beastie. Honestly, I have zero interactions with War Beastie. I've never played against him. I've never played with him.
Lucky.
I have no idea. So, I have heard the stories though, and this is 3 years of gameplay now.
I'm honestly worried because I haven't seen him in probably like 4 weeks now. I'm kind of worried. He's not on as much. I kind of miss him. I mean, he's the worst fucking player I have ever ran into. He is the worst and continually bad. You would think over the years he would get better a little bit, and he just hasn't been. And so I'm worried about where he's at, and I hope he or she is doing well.
Yeah.
I still hope for that, but just stop playing Water Warships. Just come in and say hi. But then just get the fuck out because holy shit.
There's some other people. There's some other people anyway that they will not learn and they will never learn because they haven't learned up to this point right there. Because the biggest problem, and guys, if y'all are new players, please understand that you don't know everything. You might think you have an idea of how things are supposed to go, but just keep it to yourself.
I would say the biggest thing is I like people that try to engage me after the game, call me shit or whatever, or before the game ends, they'll call me shit.
So everybody,
when I'm number one on the leaderboard, I'm controlling the map. I'm controlling what I need to control. And then I tell them, you know what? Hey, you want to talk that shit? Come fucking watch me. Come play with me real quick, and I'm gonna show you why you're bad. I broke it down for one guy and we became friends. I broke it down. I was like, dude, you played everything wrong and I called everything you were going to do the wrong way. Mm-hmm. You did. Mm-hmm. You did it to the fucking T because I know bad players because you're one of those people. And I was like, I'm not even trying to talk shit at that point. I'm just being real.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing. You've played this game since its inception. I've played this game for the past 3 years. I have 13,000 random games now, and about 2,000 or 3,000. Yeah,
you got more than me.
I've got 2 or 3,000 ranked games. So I mean, I think I have a little bit of I think I have a little bit of experience in this game, and at any given point, I can tell you how the flow of the map is going, where I need to be, what do I need to be doing, and which during the ranked season, which entices me to play DDs more because what happens, we need this cap. Nobody, go get the cap, and they refuse to go get the cap because that's what we need at the time.
Just got bad DD players that don't even want to shoot.
Well, it's one of
they want to torp poke the entire game, and it's just like that's not possible.
Yep. So I've adopted this mentality when it comes to ranked. It's like you can have terrible battleship players, you can have terrible cruiser players, and you can still survive and win the game as a team. But if you have terrible destroyers, you're screwed. Yeah, and there's nothing nothing that you can do. You're just gonna lose the game because these guys will not do what they need to be. They won't be where they need to be, and they won't do what they need to do.
And still to this day, I still say there's three mechanics in this game that fucking break it for everybody.
CVs,
bad DD players, radar, carriers, and no order. They're all fucking terrible mechanics. DDs can easily ruin a game for you, just as much as a bad carrier player can.
Right.
So, and especially when you have no cruisers that they don't know how to chase down a DD. Like if I can do it in Montana, a cruiser should be able to easily do it, and we're just not seeing that. We're just not seeing the cruisers engaging DDs like they should be doing.
Right. Now that's something to be said. But anyway, Tier 5 coming up. What are you going to play? What do you think? Honestly,
for me,
any of them are going to be fine. But I think the Caesar or the Texas are probably the top two played.
For me, I think my top two, if it was battleships only, would be Texas first. Julio Cesar would be second.
Yeah.
Just for the simple fact that I think that Texas is actually a little bit more accurate for my play.
Right.
I feel like he gets better RNG numbers than the Julio does. I think they did something with the Julio without putting it in the patch notes. We've seen.
I know originally it came out it was too accurate. It
was very accurate, and they did nerf it, and that was in the patch notes.
Right.
But they've nerfed it 2 times after that, and it just doesn't feel like it did after the first nerf. Even I mean, it feels worse. Another one would be if I was to pick a DD, Grimmy
would be good, or Kamikazes. Any of the
or Kamikaze R or Fujin. They're Kamikaze R and Fujin are both mirror ships.
Yeah,
they're literally the exact same.
All three of them are the same boats.
Yeah,
you'll see it. You'll see everything. I'll probably pay the Fujin just
touch
because
all three of those.
Yeah.
Honestly, I like all three of those DDs. Just to lump it all in one. Let's just call it the Kamikaze Squad. I like all three of those. God damn, I actually enjoyed playing that. Cruiser wise, I don't think there's going to be a decent cruiser that can actually do anything like at tier 10, like a Zhao or Des Moines.
The only thing close is the Kirov, because it's got the longest range of the cruisers, I believe, and I think it outranges battleships, I believe. The Kirov does, so you probably see a lot of those. Any of the cruisers will be fine in this aspect. Remember, guys, they're still on the table. It's still on the table, dude. For $1,000, I will rank out in nothing but the Marblehead, the Omaha, and the Murmansk. That's it. I said it. So if anybody wants to throw that down,
you'll probably rank out. But I'm trying to do it in 20 battles.
Well, it's 21 to rank out.
Well, I mean, you should be able to do it in 13. 13 is the bare minimum.
Good luck. Königsberg will be pretty good. I'm just want to.
Königsberg, I think, is going to be pretty good.
I'm Königsberg.
Mance will definitely be. Here's
something else that a lot of people. That German battleship at tier 5 with full AA spec is stupid. It's stupid.
Nope.
Don't think so?
It won't be worth it. It won't be worth it. A proper carrier player, especially early on, it's not going to come close to that. They're going to go for DDs first. You're going to see a lot of Zuho. Oh, what is it? The Zuho, I think, right?
Zuho has got the double torps, double.
Yeah, so the Zuho you're going to see and they're going to be double dropping on DDs all day and just ruining DDs gameplay.
We'll see. We'll see how it goes.
Luckily, it's auto drop, so it's not manual drop. So once you smoke and you get out of fucking vision, you should be okay for a little while. But chances are they're going to wait around for you. A good carrier player would.
Hello.
I don't like the accuracy of the tier 5 German battleship. The accuracy is absolute dog shit compared to the Texas or the Julius Caesar, where the RNG plays more favorable.
Yeah. Don't forget you got the Congo and
the Congo is just as bad. I mean,
you
might have long range, but it's gonna be terrible. This is
the typical Japanese battleship gameplay. You'll be very accurate one game, the next game you won't hit anything. That's been my experience with everything, especially with the Nagato and the Amagi. Even though they're great boats, that is the big flaw that I see in those, which I lost
especially
a lot.
Early on, it's pretty fucking terrible. RNG plays too much of a part on the Japanese battleships. It used to not be that way, and I miss those days. Where if you were in a U.S. battleship, you played wrong, you were getting punished for it. I don't know. I miss those days just for everything. But
we all do, man. We all do. All right, so that's pretty much all the news. Patch hits Friday or tomorrow, so we're all waiting for that. The Royal Navy destroyer line dropped finally. Everything is playable now. I have not played anything other than what I've already played because I haven't played for 2 days. But from what I've seen, the Jutland and the Daring are ridiculously strong, and they put a heel on them, so they're even stronger. When you do things like this, I think it's a good thing because they needed to be in the game eventually, but I also think that it's a bad thing because the more you put gunboats into the game with high fire rates like this and high damage guns, the less and less viable the stealthy DDs, the Shimakaze, the Yu-Yang, or not the Yu-Yang, but the Yugamo, the Kagero are going to be. They're almost useless at this point now because they just get absolutely smashed.
Yeah, what we're seeing now is a huge power creep. Power creep against the Gearing, power creep against the Shimakaze, power creep against a Yu-Yang. How the fuck is a Yu-Yang with radar, the only DD with a proper radar, going to be power creeped? And it's being power creeped by the Harugumo, by the new British DDs. Even that is starting to see power creep. But the Shimakaze and the Gearing especially are seeing such a huge power creep that this shouldn't have been released yet. There wasn't enough testing done, or there was very stupid testing done. One of those two things happened.
I think it's. I think it. We talked about the super testers earlier, so I think it might have been a little bit of both. I don't think that there was enough of the right testing done. Let's put it that way.
Again, it comes back to developers not playing the game.
When you answer that question of how are we going to give this an individual flavor, what do you do? And the only thing that I can see now is if you're playing a Grazovoy, you're going to be fine. If you're playing a Kebab, you're going to be fine. But anything other than playing this UK battleship, or UK destroyer, you're in trouble. I mean,
I don't think any other tier 10 DD is really going to be able to hang on. Even the ones with the heel aren't going to be able to hang on. I think they're being power creeped a little bit as well. But again, that's another thing that I'm just going on, is that we're seeing a power creep that's so large, and it happens every fucking time a new line comes out or a new ship comes out. We're just seeing a huge power creep away from what should be properly done.
Right.
And it's because there's just not enough testing. The developers don't play their own game, and we really need the developers to be much more inclined to play the game at all tiers, not just I'm only gonna play a couple games.
I don't know about you, man. I know you sit at tier 10 quite a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I have actually, other than ranked seasons, I really don't play tier 10 very often. I don't enjoy it. The gameplay is very slow, and it's very unbalanced toward the things that I want to get done, right? So if I'm playing, I want to work on my destroyers, I wait till ranked season to work on those destroyers because I know eventually I'm going to figure out the right play style, what I need to be doing, and I'm going to get very well versed in that in that destroyer what my matchups are going to be. You can't do that in randoms. I feel
No,
that
it's random was difficult. It's especially now, and again, the power creep comes back into question.
right.
How bad is the power creep? And then you look at tier 10 games, even with my games today. I mean, you saw like a huge shift. It's either a very massive loss or a very massive win. Just because the power creep is so fucking large, it's just hard to keep up with and be able to priority target properly. I mean, it's difficult. It's very difficult.
I have seen now, and I've said this before on the channel, and guys, we're hanging out with ohjeezums today. If you guys haven't done it yet, head over to twitch.tv/ohjeezums, send him a follow. But one of the things that I've noticed is that, and I've said it several times here on the channel, here on the stream, when we actually stream, is I don't enjoy tier 8 and above right now. Mainly because matchmaking, but that's a whole nother topic. But the games are just like you said; they're either blowouts, or you're getting your ass kicked very quickly, and very quickly you will decide of how the rest of that game is going to go. And very seldom is there a close game. I know the last time we played tier 10 or tier 9 or even, we had a couple of really close games because it took a lot of patience and a lot of communication in that chat to get people to do what they needed to do so we could win the game. And we ended up pulling a couple back and winning the game. But those are so far and few in between that honestly, you're just better off playing 5, 6, and 7 and having a good time playing those tiers other than tier 8, 9, and 10. Tier 9 can be okay sometimes if you're top tier, but that's my 2 cents when it comes to matchmaking.
Yeah, and the reason why we're seeing blowouts left and right, again, it just comes back to that power creep. A lot of people want to ignore the power creep and say, "Well, maybe it's just shitty players." There's a real power creep. And,
there's a point to where you can mark it up to players that are not good. There's a point, but then at some point in time, you got to sit there and look. I was playing the Kitakaze the other day, and I had 30,000 damage. I hit my smoke, and I held the button down on a battle sip, and I looked up. I had 130,000. I went up 100,000 damage over the course of 4 minutes. Just shooting at this.
Long. I mean, once you get 2 fires, chances are they're going to repair. I try not to repair unless I have 3 now, or I see 2 fires and then nobody's firing at me again. Then I'll repair.
Right.
But again, that's that power creep. I mean, you got shit that'll just constantly do fire damage over and over and over to where you have to pay attention to what's shooting at you, how fast, and then how fast that fire damage comes in.
Where are they at? Yeah. There's no balance in the game right now, and I think that's a detriment to the game. You have 90% of the people out there are shooting HE and everything. They don't even hit the number 2 button. I'm sitting there.
No, we've got Montanas and Yamatos.
You got Montanas and Yamatos. I had a guy, legit, no troll, in the chat tell me that I was a bad player for shooting AP in the Yamato. And I was like, wait a second.
I want to go ahead and grab that guy by the throat. Just grab him by the fucking throat and just be like, look at me. I'm taking over your fucking Yamato. Okay? Yeah. I am the captain now. Get the fuck out.
Let me explain a little bit more here, because I engaged this guy and I said, "Are you kidding me?" He's like, "Yeah." I was like, "So you want me to fire these big 18-inch guns with nothing but HE? Do I need IFHE?" He's like, "Oh yeah, that's mandatory on the Yamato. You need IFHE." And I said, "You've got to be trolling me right now, because you are not telling me this for real."
That's a fucking troll.
He's like, "Yeah, you're a bad player for shooting AP in your Yamato." And I was like, you are smoking crack. And I was like, all right, now explain it to me why is HE better in the Yamato than the AP? He's like, because you don't overpin and you're guaranteed this damage. And I'm like, you're a moron, and you need to go back to the drawing board and rethink this. It was like you can actually pin the cruisers on their broadside. And I was like, man, you are just... I don't even know where do you go with that? I mean, like, I don't want to like rage at the guy.
You got to ignore that, man.
And I'm like, oh, bro, but this is the mentality which will lead us into our first
but at the same time,
today.
I'm the guy just like you. I'm gonna engage them and be like, "What the fuck are you smoking? I want some of that. I want some of that fucking meth, man. It's got to be some high quality shit. That's got to be coming right out of the fucking hills of Tennessee, bud. Let me get some of that fucking meth." But dude,
I mean, and that'll lead us into our first topic today: the mentality for the average player. I have always considered myself. I'm not the best player in the world. I'm not the worst player in the world, but I like to think that I have a decent head for this game, and win more games than I lose. And my win rate's only 61%, but still, that's pretty high. And
61% win rate over, you said how many battles? 11,000, 12,000?
13,000.
13,000 battles, 61% win rate?
Yeah. We win more than we lose most of the times.
That's much better than where I'm at right now. Like, if you go look at mine, I'm at 58.58 over all of my battles. All my battles, 7,552. Yeah. That's random, ranked, I think team battles and co-op is all involved. That's 58.58%.
So let's move on into our first topic here: mentality for the average player. So what this topic is going to be is just going to be some tips, maybe maybe it'll change the way some people think about what they need to be doing to play this game properly, or to give themselves more of an enjoyment out of this by playing at a higher level. Now, I know, OJ, you've been playing for a long time. I've been playing for a long time. And between the two of us, we can come up with one or two things that people can think about while they're playing this game to help them out and help them enjoy the game a little bit more.
Yeah, do you want to take a quick piss break and then grab a drink?
You got to think about this for a second? Is that what it is? Yeah, sure. We can take a break. Go ahead.
Yeah, let me go take a quick piss. It'll be no less than a minute 30, I think.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're hanging out with ohjeezums right now. You guys can follow him over at twitch.tv/ohjeezums, or if you guys got him on Twitter at ohjeezums. It's right there on the screen. You guys can copy, paste that down. I do encourage people, if you guys do have a question, a comment, or a concern, or anything like that, please add it at me or send me a private message, and we can address them at the end of the show during the Q&A portion. If right now I don't have nobody's sent me anything yet, so we'll just skip the Q&A portion at this point in time and go into the games. Now, if you guys want to hang out after the show, I know me and OJ, we're gonna get together and play some games, talk some more trash, and do all the things that we normally do. So that's what we have planned after the show. So if you guys are interested, hang out for that right here on the channel. But hopefully everybody's enjoying the show so far. If you guys have any other people that you guys would like to see on it, head on over to the Discord channel. Right there. Head on over to the Discord channel, and there's a tab in there that says Podcast Ideas. Put your ideas or anybody else that you guys would like me to approach to see about getting on the channel or getting on the podcast, and we can do that in the future. Boy, I tried to stretch that out as long as I could, but now I've got nothing left to say, and he's still not back yet. So there we go. So how's everybody doing? Yeah, good. All right, let's go to the chat here. Tommy Boy says, you tell people like that to do a game with nothing but HE, then a game with nothing but AP, and which battle do they get more damage? Most of the times they get more damage with the AP because they're actually shooting in the proper positions. Being really bad, players can't shoot at ball. I need some B6. You want some B6? Well, B6 doesn't have a camera, Taiwan number one, but I've talked to him about it, and he said he would do it if he could do it without a camera. Pyrol says, testers are sub-mediocre players. What did he expect? There you go. There we are. We're back with...
all right, I'm back, man. Sorry.
We're back with ohjeezums right here. So I was telling them... all right. So just a few things here, guys.
Have you ever had a dog in your stream before? Now you got one.
Yeah, I've had a couple of dogs.
Oh, no, this is the first time ever, ladies and gentlemen. The first time ever.
First time ever OJ brings his girlfriend on the camera. Here we go.
Oh, I know.
Nice. All right, so let's jump into some just mentality. All right, when you're playing as a battleship, because you're a battleship guy most of the time. When you're going into a new game situation, what do you initially do to assess your game?
The first thing I do every game, and this is mostly just memory, is the location of the current ships, what tier they're at, and where the tier deficit is for the side of the map. And I try to position myself for that. That's right off the bat, and that's tier 10. The lower tiers, I really just kind of lemming with the team to do that Powerball fucking move, because the lower tiers, the meta down there is so much more different than the higher tiers. You can't really hold when both teams are powerballing around the fucking map. So tier 10 is a lot different. You can hold with the proper people, the proper firepower, if they are at a deficit. And if they are at a deficit, I'm going to run my fat ass on over there and try to hold that cap. Not really hold it to where, we have the cap. I hold it to keep them there. Like, I don't care if they have the cap. We just keep them there. We keep them occupied.
Keep them stubble. Yeah, that's one of the things. Like we do here in the chat. For $5, we go up the middle on Two Brothers, and it doesn't matter what ship I'm in. I've done it in Musashis. I've done it in Tirpitzes. I've done it in DDs, cruisers, anything, all the way from tier 5 up to tier 10. I've gone up the middle up there. And the majority of the time, it's you guys just hold this side and let the other side push up. It's just stall them out as long as you can while the other side pushes around, because if we're going up the middle, people are going to flex off of their sides to come back and try to deal with us in the middle. And if we can get
very quickly too,
if we can get 4 to 5 people to come back to try to deal with us 3 in the middle, then there's big advantage on either side that you guys can totally push in on. And a lot of people don't see that, and they just think you're a terrible shitter for going up the middle on Two Brothers. And I was like, I don't care. I made $5. Fuck what you think, Just
you heard it here first, folks. He's only in it for the money.
But anyway, we have a pretty good record. I think I'd have to go back and watch the VODs, but that's like,
you could probably honestly doing that as long as it's only like 2 or 3 of you, and the rest of you got 2 sides that are actually pushing and keeping the pressure up. I really think it's a viable strategy.
Oh, it's definitely viable. I'm sitting there trying to think. I got into it the other day, and if you play it smart and you slow play the middle, you can do very well as a squad, as a 3-man squad. Now, there's some days where I'm in something like a Molotov or something that just gets obliterated no matter where you touch it, that we've done very well in, and then there's the other times where it doesn't matter. I'm in a Nelson or something and I get smashed, whatever. I mean, it happens. It happens both ways, but more often than not, we're going up that middle. We're flanking that guy on the left-hand side or the right-hand side, whatever, who's just kind of dragging his feet to get anywhere, and we smash that guy really quickly. And we start pulling people back, and then it gives, and that's all we do.
And usually it's a cruiser too.
Yeah.
So that's a big win. That's what's fucked up about today's game, right? Today's meta. It doesn't matter what tier. If you can get rid of that cruiser first, you can get a couple of cruisers going first. It's not even about the DDs. You get a couple cruisers done first. Holy shit!
The damage potential with minus cruisers is ridiculous, because they don't have the opportunity to set you on fire and do that damage, which means you're not burning through your repairs. There you go. You're not burning through your repairs. You're not burning through your heals.
Take out 2 cruisers, and that brings $3 million down to 1.5.
Mm-hmm. The potential damage is very different if you're minus a cruiser or 2 versus you. So and that's all about position and knowing where the weakness is, again, where your weakness is, and plugging holes where you need to plug them. That's basically what he said.
And then going on to new players. I mean, it's going to be the same from everybody that's actually decent at the game. Everybody should be the same thing. That is 60% or above win rate to new players. And that is, look at your positioning. Try to watch how better players are positioning. follow their positioning, try to mirror it first and then perfect it, and then the mini map. Always have to pay attention to the mini map. If you're not paying attention to the mini map, you're going to fucking die every time.
You're setting yourself up. And I've always told people the first thing that they want to do when they're new to the game is go into a game, click on that little cog wheel above the mini map, click on it, and you'll pull it up, and there's 3 boxes at the bottom of the list. It says last known positions. Click that on. Names on the mini map. Make sure those are on. So when you do go in, I
always forget to tell people that too.
Yeah.
You know, that's something I need to keep reminding myself to tell people, because that is definitely something that needs to be said.
That's right.
Those have to be on the mini map. They give you that tool now. Yep. It used to be a mod. Used to be a mod.
Yep.
They give you that advantage. Take advantage of it. You won't get surprised.
No.
You're not going to get surprised again, you know?
That's one thing that I've always said, all right, so there's a DD out there. Where's this DD at? Okay, well, his last known position is right here, and I am going to float around that zone. I have to watch out for this guy. All right, say it's a Nicholas. Okay, there's a Nicholas around this area. His torpedoes are 5.5 kilometers. Okay, so I got to pay attention, be off of that corner 7 kilometers just in case that guy comes. So that's all positioning, knowing what's around you, and you can't do that if you don't have these these names on the mini map, so you know what you're getting into when you're trying to come around a corner. So that is my biggest tip for new players. And apparently there. All right, so you've assessed the situation.
As average as you are. I'll go ahead and agree with you on that, man.
Pretty average, man.
That's spot on. That's spot on.
All right, so you've assessed the situation. You've seen where the weakness is on your boat or your team, and you've gone to back that side up. Now what are you looking at? What's the next step? What's the next step? My next step is to assess what's facing you. What's been spotted? Okay, we got 2 battleships way off in the back. We got a cruiser that's been spotted up next to this island, and we know that there's at least 1 DD in this cap. Go.
So what I normally have been doing, especially here lately, and it's been working out and giving me a lot more wins, and staying alive too at the same time with big damage, is I try to get as close to the powerless cap, our powerless side of the map, the side that I think is going to be kind of spitful. When I go to that side, I try to get as close as possible. As soon as I'm spotted, I'm usually broadside by that point. Mm-hmm. And as soon as I get spotted, I'm out. I'm turned out, ready to shoot at them. And then once we handle that and keep them off, chances are they're going to go from, the side cap where I usually am to the mid cap. And then I'm already turned to that side. I can already get turned back to that side, back bow in, ready to re-engage the rest of the team that moved that way. Or if our team full falls apart, I can still be bow out, tanking damage without an issue while I deal damage constantly.
Right.
And we've seen me do it. I mean, shit. It's been on stream. We did it.
You did it
1
tonight.
versus 5 and came out with 4 kills, and one guy was left, and he was raggedy.
Yeah.
He was stupid raggedy. So.
Well, I was watching that 225,000 damage game you put up tonight. I was sitting there watching that. That was a dirty game. Dirty boy.
And that's just using the bow out method. Again, you get as close as possible. As soon as you get spotted, you're turned out. By the time battleships get to aim at you now, because turret traverse has been nerfed so hard, the chance of you being hit by that is going to be slim to none. You're probably going to take a couple fires and take some damage, without a doubt. Maybe even a torpedo, but it's not going to be enough to where you're going to sit there and say, well, but I fucked up.
Well, I messed up. It's time for me to bounce, and then you just leave everybody.
Yeah, exactly. No, you're mitigating damage on the way out while you deal more damage than what was done to you at that point.
This, for you cruiser players out there, this is something that you can also adapt to the cruiser style of play, especially with the Hindenburg or the Zhao or the Henry, as those guys are going to generally be played at medium to long range to begin with. Don't open fire until you're almost done with your turn, and then.
Hey, I'll give you one extra, man.
Yeah.
If you're in a Hindenburg and you're basically 1 versus 1 against a cruiser in a Montana, fucking take it. Go bow on.
Yep.
Take that shit, because you're going to wreck him. He's not going to know what the fuck to do.
Yeah,
they're going to lose their goddamn mind.
He'd be hard pressed to pin you from up close. Now, Hindenburgs do fail at about that medium range with its armor, but if you can get close to him, there's not going to be much that he can do.
I've got a video for you, man. No,
All
they
right.
don't.
We'll
They don't.
we'll watch that later though. Send it to me. Send it to me in the wherever, and I'll watch it after this. But yeah, so Hindenburg's 10, 11 kilometers. They get kind of hurt there. Up close, they'd be hard pressed to bow pin you or do any kind of damage because of the armor plating that's in there. So one thing I've adapted for the Henry is that bow out philosophy. I will wait for my guns until I'm about halfway done through my turn out, and then I will open up and start raining fire down. And then if they are shooting at me, you hit the brakes, you turn out, you hit the brakes, you turn in, whatever you can do to dodge these shots. Because if you take any of these shots, you're probably going to take a big chunk. And other than that, or you're going to overpin.
It might hurt, but you could time it out and time their shot to where you could actually get turned back out. So if you're turned into a cap, say you get spotted faster than what you were expecting, right? You're doing my method. Basically, get your shot out at your first priority target. So the highest priority target that you can see, you're going to get your shot out and just try to get some damage done while you're still bow in. They're going to shoot at you, whether they fucking want to or not. They're going to shoot at you because they're stupid.
They see a
And then you count down.
target.
Yeah, you just count down. You take one more shot as you're kind of turned out. You just turn out just a little bit, take one more shot, which will be a little bit of damage. But then you full turn out. As soon as that shot hits you, you should already be full turned out. You should be going.
Yep.
And
Get out of there.
you should be okay at that point.
You see that with the asshole Zal build that Pyro's put me on for rank season. Oh man, I made these guys so mad they just quit shooting at me because they weren't hitting me at all.
I mean, you can't. I'm a battleship player. I'm gonna tell you right now. The ships that I hate shooting at the most
Zal, Henry.
are Henrys that know how to play with the throttle, and then Zals that know how to fucking properly turn.
Yeah. And they play it.
That's
too.
all they have to do. They don't even have to cut back on throttle at all. They don't have to increase throttle. They can sit at 1/2 throttle, and I can't fucking hit them.
Yep.
It's insanity.
Yep.
Crazy.
And it goes back to like the old. I don't know if I want to call it an urban legend or whatever, but just from experience in playing all these games that I've played, I get terrible dispersion and terrible luck shooting the dead still targets.
Yeah.
I've sat there with a guy beached on an island in some pretty accurate boats, North Carolina, Montana, and just spray the guy down to where I'm not hitting anything on the guy, and just splash, and the guy's sitting dead still, and I'm like, wow. And that happens more often than I'm going to smash the guy. But
people that can dead stop instantly fucking piss me off. Dude.
Oh, yeah.
That's the Henry though.
Yeah.
That's the Henry,
Yeah.
Playing with that throttle, they can play with it perfectly.
See, the best part
honestly,
about
they're just playing the ship to its
the way it's supposed to be played
against me.
Yeah.
So it's hard to complain about it, but at the same time, it needs a little bit of a nerf, but not much, or just make my dispersion better. I'd be fucking happy.
Exactly. I think it's great with the engine boost on the Henry can really troll a battleship. You
want me to message you this video or
just send it to me.
Chat.
Send it to me in the Discord. You can post it in the chat if you want to as well.
Honestly, I think it's just a master play Hindenburg game. I'm not even really a cruiser player, and I did a master play in that game, and I think people would benefit from seeing that.
I think so.
It's beautiful.
So there you go.
It's something else.
So when you're coming up on, all right, so we've assessed our situation. We know what's coming up against us. There's a couple of battleships. There's a cruiser. There's a destroyer in the cap. It's not being spotted yet. What do you prioritize as a battleship player of your first sets of volleys? I know my personal opinion. I'm going to go for the shot of opportunity. If there's a bow out, or if there's a broadside cruiser, I'm obviously going to take that shot first. If there's a broadside battleship, I'm more likely to take those broadside shots just so I can chunk these guys down as hard as I possibly could. Where do you prioritize?
So I mean, if you see a Montana broadside versus any cruiser broadside, you're probably going to take the cruiser. But if I see a DD if I could actually see the DD, that's going to be my priority target, and it's got to be always. Even if you only are doing 1,000 damage, it's more damage being done to that DD to get him dead and help your DD out. If there's a DD, or if there's only cruisers that maybe have a radar or something, you guys are going to get that DD dealt with, and then I can work on the cruiser afterwards. I'm not stressing the cruiser right away. The first thing I'm going to stress is that DD.
Right.
I don't want to be stealth chased the entire fucking game, so it's got to be that DD. Because I'm expecting a full failure from my team. I'm expecting full failure from my team because I don't know them, and I want that DD dead. If I'm playing with my clan, it's a little bit different. If it's me and my clan, I know I can go ahead and take pot shots at a battleship if that's all I can see, or if I see a cruiser that's even bow out, I'll go ahead and take pot shots at that.
Right.
Over a broadside battleship now, because you're not going to get the citadels anymore. You're not going to get a lot of damage done compared to a cruiser that's bow out, which is fucking weird.
Yeah, I'm doing more damage to broadside battleships than I am cruisers anymore because of the overpin mechanic that's been happening. So anyway, so we're prioritizing our shots. Broadside cruisers I'm going to take my first shots at. If I see a destroyer, I'm readjusting to hit that destroyer first thing. I've made rankings only on shooting destroyers in battleships. I know you have as well. The destroyers
it's so key. It's so key.
And if we're talking,
it's going to be key coming up too with rank 5 as well. Even though it's only rank 5, I think we're still going to see the same fucking meta. You've got to get those DDs dead. If you don't, I mean, it just reminds me back in what is the season 3 when I ranked out, or was it season 4? I think it was season 3.
I've only played the last 6 ranked seasons. So what was that? 10. So I've played 4 through 10, I believe. I've ranked out every time. Some are better than the others. You know, my first ranked season was tier 8, and I ranked out, and then they went to tier 7, and that was the worst season I ever had. And then back to 6, which was the best season I ever had, and then 8, and then 10. So those are the seasons, and every season I would play Battleship up until I hit rank 5, and then once I hit rank 5, I swapped over to the DD because I felt like I could control the game a little bit more. And to keep those ranks, to keep those stars, you had to shoot the DDs, and that was the mentality that I took. And then I obviously, after doing that for so long and seeing the success, and we were winning games because they were out of DDs, and our DDs were able to go cap. They were able to continuously spot for us. We were able to control the game and really push the issue of, hey, you need to do something now or you're going to lose. Being down 2 DDs to 1.
Yeah, and it was actually the 3rd season, by the way, and even then it was tier 8, I think, and you got to kill the DDs. The DDs control the game a lot more than what I think they should, just because of that stealthiness. It kills, but that's why they put radar in instead of just nerfing the DDs, which I don't agree with. Because radar going above them and beyond a mountain, I think is broken. Right. It just allows a cruiser to hide and then become a different kind of power creep.
Well, that's something else to be said. There is issues with radar, and I have it on pretty decent authority that they are looking at radar and trying to figure out the best way to rework the radar. To give the destroyers some kind of chance. They've already started this with the Worcester nerf and the
what
Seattle
I don't like
nerf.
is that they're going with give DD some kind of chance. That's not really it. I just think they went with one broken method, and now they're going with a second broken method instead of just trying to meet that in the middle.
Wargaming does have this
radar that's in the open water,
right?
Where they're. If it's going in between the mountains, the radar, as it should, normally, like in real life, I think that's the almost only realistic part I would really love to see in this game. So that way it's still somewhat arcadey, but now it's a little bit more realistic at the same time.
Well, I've got a couple of
bounce around the
fixes here.
mountains.
We wrote these down. We wrote this down because this is something that we talked about during our cruiser episode, and I want to bring these up to you and see what you think about it because you were probably streaming when I was doing the show. But one of the fixes, yes, I agree with you that going through the mountain is an issue. I do not agree that it is the biggest issue that needs to be addressed at the moment. It is an issue, though, and it will have to be addressed sometime in the future. My biggest issue with the radar right now, as it stands, is that it goes too far and it lasts too damn long. And when you're having some of these radars that can go for almost a full minute, 45 seconds to a minute, then you are not giving the DD a chance. And the only counter to this is to be at 10 kilometers or be at 12 kilometers. That's it. Yeah. There's no counterplay to radar other than pushing the game further away from each other, right? So shorten it up or lower it down. And I know there's a logistical nightmare that this next one poses is doing a rotating ping. You know how the radar, you see all the old videos, how the radar, the little green line goes across and then it pings this little dude. You have this guy fading in and out the entire time. If you are going to do that, then you have to extend the radar time to compensate for the fact that he's not going to be spotted the entire time. You could
probably keep the fucking radar time the same so they can hide behind the mountain. I would actually be happy with, them still being able to hide behind the mountain as long as it was a ping, like a blip.
Yeah. Well, you come up,
it
spots out for 4 or 5 seconds, and then he fades away. Then he spots out for 4 or 5 seconds, and then he fades away. Now, a lot of people are going to be upset at this, and I see the logistical nightmare that this will cause for the developers and for the coding. So this will probably never happen. But that's an opportunity. Some other idea of what we have now that they could or you make it like the fucking cyclone mechanic to where the guys at 9.5 kilometers can see this guy, but the guy at 18, 19 kilometers can't see anybody. You have to force the issue to come inside or to push the game closer together, to speed the games up. I think the average game was anywhere between 11 to 15 minutes.
I think I could agree with that. Yeah. I mean, even as playing DDs, I think I could agree with that. Yeah. And I played the worst fucking cancer of them all. There's some Mikaze. If I'm the only DD left, it's just straight cancer because I'll never be spotted. But I know how to play right. I know how to use the advantage of, the RPF and everything like that to say, all right, well, I'm getting too close.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Got to back off before you get spotted.
There's a lot of nuances to playing destroyers that a lot of people don't really understand. I still see this as a tip. Here's another tip for you budding or wanting to get into destroyers. If you go into a cap and you're not spotted, don't pop your smoke.
Yeah, no.
All you're doing
only pop your smoke as a way to disengage.
Yeah,
it's a disengaged mechanic.
Mm-hmm. There's only a handful of boats that smoke is very offensive, and that's the Haragumo, the Kitakaze, the Akizuki, these new Darings, and with the really short smoke, they're going to pew you for about 20 seconds, and then they're going to get the hell out of there before that thing goes away. The rest of it is a very defensive, very supporty type style of smoke. So if you do happen to go into a cap and pop your smoke, what's going to happen? Number one, they know exactly where you are because you're probably in that smoke. The next thing, if you are going to pop your smoke, don't be sitting broadside to where the enemy lanes are. So pencil yourself out. Or pencil yourself in. Preferably pencil yourself back out the other direction just in case there are torpedoes, you can get the fuck out. Because you don't want to sit there, and I don't know about you, man, when I play a destroyer, the one thing that I hate the most is hitting torpedoes if I'm a destroyer. Because number one, if you're a tier 10 and you're getting hit by a Shimaka Z-torp, that thing's going to kill you. One torp and you're dead. Or you're functionally useless. All you now are is a support
at the very least,
style.
you'll be down to 1,000 HP anyway.
Yeah.
So.
Right. So pencil away. Don't pop your smoke unless you're spotted. Just pay attention, man. Watch out for those. Vigilance. A lot of people don't use vigilance. I use vigilance on most of my destroyers. because I hate hitting torpedoes. I absolutely hate it, and I get so angry at myself for hitting torpedoes.
Few people that don't, but I usually like I said, I use RPF to my advantage to where I can position myself either in or out and see torpedoes coming before they come, just because I know the position of the DD. I can position out for that and say, all right, the torpedo is going to come from this direction.
All right. So let's jump back into it. Let's jump back into more mentality here.
Yeah.
So all right. So we've taken our shots. We've taken our initial shots. Maybe we citadel this cruiser. The destroyer's finally popped up, so we're going to go ahead and shoot at the destroyer because he takes priority over everything else on that side of the board. Now you see that you have this side under control. All right. The other side of the map is failing. They are getting pushed down really hard. They are on kiting duty. Now, I don't know if you guys understand what kiting duty is, but in my eyes, kiting duty is this. We're not going to keep this cap. We are going to lose this side of the board, but I'm going to hold these guys there as long as I can. I'm going to be annoying as hell, and I'm going to be bowing away. I'm going to be slowly doing it. I'm going to be turning, opening up, firing all my guns off, closing back up, just trying to minimize as amount of damage as I possibly can, just so our team can push around the corner. Or push the other side of the board.
Yeah, and if we do get some games off tonight, which I really hope we do, to show stream, I'm gonna show you why and how I get so close to the fucking cap without being spotted, or trying not to be spotted and bowing out before shots can be taken at me, or taking my shots first, being bow in, and then counting down from their next shot. That's one of the biggest things as a Battleship player is I look forward to. I take the weaker side. Because the weaker side, I think, is going to be the one where I'm going to kite them to a corner of the map where they shouldn't even fucking be. They should have left my ass alone 10 minutes ago. You know?
Yep.
So that's one of the main things. You could absolutely do that and control a battle by just controlling this shit coming through.
Yeah, and that's something that you see in the better players do in ranked season. Mm-hmm. The better players do this in ranked season, and you'll probably see I do this every once in a while. Not very often, but I do it every once in a while. I will head straight to the A10 line. And I'm like, okay, fine, you guys are going to kill me, but y'all are going to pay for it. I'm going to do as much damage as I can, number one. I'm going to be annoying as hell. Hell, dude, I have switched over to HE just to set fires on people, just to get damage done, and try to continue to pull them away. Go dark. Go dark.
I mean, that's what I did in my
yourself.
Yamato, man. Yeah. That's how I ended up breaking out. I stopped playing the Yu Yang. I literally did it in the Yamato in I think like 65, 70 battles. I don't remember anymore. But it was still a lot of battles, but as soon as I took control of the Yamato and played it that way, which everybody called me a pussy for, I love that.
Yeah, gotta love it.
But I controlled the map because I had 5 people chasing me to a corner of the map, way away from the caps, while we were able to control 2 caps and then win the game. And then by the time they kill me, they're so far away from the caps.
They're ineffective.
Even the cruisers, they can't get back. They can't get engaged again.
That's another thing. Another tip that I like to bring up is if you're playing a battleship that is notoriously slow, there's zero reason, like Colorado, pretty much the American lineup until tier 8 are pretty slow. Let's be fair, they're really slow.
Honestly, up to tier 8, it really gets quick with the Iowa and the Montana. That's when it really starts to pick up.
Yeah, well, the North Carolina is not too bad. It's still 20 something, above 25. So that's pretty good. So the next thing is if you are going to be playing one of these slower battleships, or the lower tiered battleships aren't very fast either, except if you're running the Miyogi, stuff like that are relatively quick. Don't play the outside of the board. Play the middle of the board. Play very tight into the board. There's no reason for you to be out on the 8, 9, 10 line. 9, 10 line especially, but
not at the beginning.
No. 9, 10 line.
You gotta learn how to pull them.
Right. 1, 2 line, 9, 10 line. You see it if you play maps like Estuary, where A and D are on completely opposite sides. and you're trying to figure out what's the best place for you to be. Well, you don't have to go all the way to A to support A. You don't have to go all the way to D to support D. You can play at about the 4 or 5 line, or the the D line. I believe it's the D line and the the FH line or something like that. Either way, you don't have to play all the way to that cap to be able to support it, because some of these boats, like the Texas, they has 18-kilometer range, so you can play tighter into the middle. And I say play tighter to the middle because just in case your other side is getting trashed on and they are running, you can flexibility. You have a little bit of flexibility. You can turn your boat. You can head that direction. You can give them a little bit of support as they are running away. And that is something that a lot of people have not realized, because I'll tell you how many times I play an estuary where I'm looking up, we're winning the game. This guy is complaining, I need support, and he's in a Colorado out on the 1 line. And I'm like, what are you doing out there? I mean, there's literally nobody else there because they've killed everybody very, very quickly, and the rest of the team is on our side of the map. And I'm like, why are you way out there?
They're way out of their situation. That's the wrong play. You've got to know when to turn back in. Like if you're on a side where your team is pulling, but ends up winning that engagement, you've got to know when it's time to turn back in and just go ahead and take a citadel worth of damage. Especially as Battleship, you've got to get back in that fight. You are that tank. You've got to get back in and take that bit of damage. It's not going to be much, honestly. You're looking at like maybe 10 to 15,000 worth of damage. You've got to get back in that fight. Chances are, if you play it the way that I'm talking about, you playing it, you're trying to pull the team out, you might have 12 to 17,000 gone by that point. Yeah. You really shouldn't have anything more
minimal.
Than that.
Even that's a minimal amount from your boat. So
exactly, especially when you're looking at like 60,
60, 80, 90,000.
Yeah, and we're talking from anywhere from tier 6 to 10 at that point.
Right. Guys, we're hanging out with ohjeezums tonight. You can find them over at twitch.tv/ohjeezums or over at Twitter @ohjeezums. If you guys have any questions, please preference them to ServinMIK or Zipshot, and he will feed them to me in a private message, and we will address those coming up here in about 15 minutes or so. Then we will get to the Q&A portion. And then after that, if you're down to play, man, I'm down to play for a little while. If you want to get some games together. I don't know. I know you got a busy day tomorrow.
No, I'm here.
All right. So here's something else. Another mentality of when is it okay to run away? All right. When is it okay to run away? We've already started to talk about it a little bit, but there's something to be said. It's okay to run away, and it's also okay to bow in sometimes. Now, I'm not one of these guys that likes to bow in very often, but if I have to, I will. And there's 2 reasons why I bow in. Number 1, there's 3 or 4 boats that I really can't angle against, and I know if I open up, I'm gonna die. I'm going to die. Right?
Yeah, that's a difficult question. Like, I mean, even with a bow out, you're gonna die. Yeah. You can pull them to the corner, but what do you do if your team just instant fails?
Well, there's something to be said about this that go ahead and take your little chunk of damage. Okay, I've made a mistake. I've gone a little bit too deep. Now I need to figure out how to get out of this too deepness, right? The only thing that I can tell you is you're going to take damage no matter what you do. You're going to die if you sit bow in. There is a very slim chance that you open up and you start turning away after you've been spotted. You take that chunk, you take that citadel, you take the 30,000, 40,000 damage that you're going to take, and then you start running the fuck away. You turn out and you turn your guns facing backwards, and then you just go. And that's the only way that you're going to get out of this situation with any kind of hit points. And I would rather have 20,000 hit points than sit there and die. So there's
again. So you could preempt a failure, which is what I try to do on a weak side. If it's a weak side, you should already be bow out, getting the fuck out, and pulling them to a corner away from the other 2 caps. Not trying to get back in the battle right away. It's just not going to happen. Take your damage, go die in the corner, but you're going to be pulling a lot of people with you.
Right. The next thing.
Now, if you're on a strong side and the team fails, you're bow in. Chances are you're engaged. You're not going to be able to disengage like that.
Right.
What do you do? You know what? Just go ahead and put on Jekyll and Hyde by fucking 5 feet of death punch, go balls to the fucking walls, and punch everybody in the fucking mouth.
There you go.
I mean, that's what you got to do.
The next thing is just to try to take so much aggro that everybody's having to shoot at you. Maybe somebody else can get away. Play for the rest of the team instead of yourself. That's what I'm saying.
Put on some Jekyll and Hyde by 5 feet of death punch. Go balls to the walls at that point. You're already engaged. It's going to be difficult to disengage. I mean, you might be able to disengage, but you're still going to fucking die. Yeah. And they're still going to be able to push through.
And you never know. You might, and I know this is
put
all
that metal song on. Go balls to the fucking walls and just punch them in the fucking mouth with your shills.
This is 100% situational awareness. This is 100% situational awareness. There is something to be said about, I've played this, I know pretty much what I'm going to do in any situation. A lot of these guys, I can sit here, and me and OJ have been sitting here for the last hour and a half, talking about very specific situations. No two games that I've played have ever been exactly the same. Out of all the games, OJ will cop to this as well. No two games that we have played have ever been the same. So I can sit here and regurgitate so much knowledge and skills and, well, you should do this, you should do that. Until you're in that situation, it doesn't matter what we say, you're gonna make wrong decisions. And that's okay. It's okay to fail at this game. It's okay to die. Just because you died in the first 5 minutes doesn't mean you're a terrible player. Don't let these people sit there in the chat and rail on you, or don't listen to them. At least they're going to do it no matter what you say. But you don't have to. It's not necessarily a bad thing that you died in the first 5 minutes of the game. That's a learning experience.
Not necessarily always, but if you die in the first 5 minutes and you want to start complaining about anybody else, just make sure you look at yourself first.
Yeah. Well, that's a big thing. Is I've always attested to that. Look at yourself first. Look at what you did wrong before you open up. And it's always that guy that dies in the first 5 minutes that turns into Admiral fucking Halsey that tells everybody else what they need to be doing.
Yeah, it just goes on everybody else's nuts. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Who the fuck are you?
Yeah.
Who the fuck are you to me?
Exactly.
And then I gotta go stat shame a motherfucker. Don't make me stat shame you, please. Don't make me do that.
You
know what? You know what? Reach out to me. Be like, yo, I was in your game. I was on your team.
You saw.
Tell me what the fuck I did wrong. I'll help break it down for you. I'm not that much of an ass. When you come at me like an asshole,
just a little bit,
I'm gonna treat you like a piece of shit that I just fucking happen to step on walking down the street.
You know what? That goes back to something else, man. We both of us have a reputation of being toxic people in the chat.
Well, I'm very toxic.
Well, my reputation for toxicity goes back to frustration back in ranked seasons when people are just idiots and they're not doing what they need to be doing, right? This is my frustration. Or I get that players that we were talking about earlier, Falco. We get those players that are on our team, and they just refuse to get with the program, right? So this is the frustration that I have, and I'm going to get chat banned. I'm going to earn my chat ban, and sometimes I earn it a little bit overboard, and I get that, and that's on me for doing it. I think us as streamers, us as community members, and everybody else out there, we have a responsibility. Maybe we don't have a responsibility, but I'm taking it on my responsibility to maybe come at these people a different direction other than, fuck you, you're not telling me nothing, or whatever OJ's wants to say. We need to step back. Hey man, check us out. I'm going to try to help you real quick. This is not the right thing to do.
Just like I had with that one night, dude. This guy, he was trash talking me, and I died pretty quickly. I was in that situation where we were just talking about. I was bowing. It's impossible to disengage. There are 7 ships on me.
Yeah.
I ended up taking 2 or 3 out.
Yeah.
What the fuck? I was like, dude, I know I'm gonna be number 1, so I just let him run his mouth while I talk shit in stream. And just stayed toxic in my own stream because I don't want to put that in the Twitch. I mean, in the actual game chat. I try not to do that.
Yeah, I try to
it still fucking happens because I hit that point. I think everybody hits that point and they're just like, You stupid fuck. Who the fuck are you?
Yeah. Why are you even talking to me, Mister?
Yeah. So this guy kept talking shit after the game. He messaged me. You should have been number one. Blah blah. All this shit. And I was like, dude, you really need to watch my VOD because everything you did, I predicted you would do because I felt you were that bad player. I was like, you got a lot to learn. I would love for you to join me and figure out why the fuck you're wrong. I mean, we were talking shit back and forth for like 40 minutes, man. I knew my stream was over it. They were fucking over it because me and him were just talking shit in the chat, a little chat box.
Yeah, we get that. We get that every once in a while. It's been a while since somebody's.
But he cooled down and
take a
realized
run
what
at
the
me.
fuck happened. Yeah. Hey, I made a new friend, an actual friend. So I'm not stressing that. Sometimes you just got to get that shit out. You got to feel like you're superior and get knocked the fuck down. You got to get knocked the fuck down.
Yeah, and like I said, man, it's okay. It's okay to fail. The only way that you can do is fail in this game and then assess what you did. Can I do this a different direction? I was notorious back in my early days of running around corners and getting torpedoed by DDs. I know the DD's there. I've got him on hydro. I'm going to get this DD.
I want to go get him right now.
I'm going to go get him right now. And I had to break myself. And it was Jingles. It was a Jingles video. And I was no. Wait a second. Let me finish this because it was Jingles doing a review of a guy who had 6 kills, right? And I was in that, and I was this guy's first kill of the game. I died plowing around to a corner into a destroyer and eating torpedoes, and I was like, yeah, that's not smart. I just got blown up by fucking Jingles and this guy who ended up 6 kills on this game in a destroyer, and I'm like, yeah, okay, so that was a mistake. So I learned, and I haven't, every once in a while you do it again, but it's very, very far and few in between now. Now I'm in a cruiser here. Yo, I'm not plowing around that corner. Let this dude come to me.
I've been watching you, man, and I've seen you progressively get better, and that's just with me throwing you like a couple tips in here and there, but I really haven't given you much to truly go on. I'm not a good teacher, man, to be completely honest. You just got to watch me and be able to mirror me. I'm just one of those people. I'm not actually a good teacher. You got to mirror me.
This goes back. Now, my learning process is different than, I mean, it's not unique to me. A lot of people do this as well, but I feel that my learning process is different than anybody else's. I want to play with the people that are better than me. I want to play with. When I first started,
the same way.
I played with a guy named Poulter. I don't know if you know Poulter, and then Ozimo. These two guys took me and it was like, here, just listen to what I have to say and do the best you can with what information I give you. And I was like, okay. So I would pay attention to what these guys were telling me, and then I would put myself in the positions that they told me to do, and then I was able to I got my very first Citadel. I was like, whoa, what is this black ribbon? Or I was like, what is this black ribbon? What is this thing?
God damn.
How did I hit this guy for 13,000? He's like, oh, you got a Citadel. I was like, what the hell is a Citadel? And these are the things that they don't really teach you through the game. You have to learn these the hard way.
Yeah. Hey, can we bring that up right there? Bad Pappy was saying, why is it the team seems to think DDs have to run in the cap as fast as they can? Can I go ahead and break this down and just say, Bad Pappy, I love you for bringing that up.
Yeah.
No, DD should not be running straight into the cap, trying to cap right away. Maybe touch and get the fuck out, but only one should be doing that. So if you have multiple DDs to a cap, one should be tapping the cap to break that radar, break that fucking radar, because it's prevalent through tier 6 now, tier 6 to tier 10. Break that radar by touching the cap real quick, get the fuck out. Mm-hmm. And then all of you, this however many DDs it is, whether it's just you and another, or 3 of you all together, you could attack a cap together without being worried about that radar. It doesn't matter if their DD caps the fucking cap.
No, you can.
You guys just need to break that radar, break that meta, and then come back into it. And then you're going to have the cruiser support behind you. By the time you go back into the cap, cruisers will already be set up, ready to go. Battleships will be set up, ready to go. Most battleships should be shooting at the DD first. I think that should be a priority target for battleships if they can be spotted. If not, it's going to be cruisers.
This
So
reminds
make
me.
sure.
This reminds me of a story. 3 days after the rank season, I'm playing the Grozovoy, and I had not played the Grozovoy very much, and we're on what is it, Loop, where you got this little star pattern of islands coming out, and then there's a big island right there in it B, and I'm in a Grozovoy, and there's a Shimakaze on the other side, and a couple other DDs, and I don't go to the cap. I play around the cap, and I drop some torpedoes. I'm trying to get spots on cruisers for my battleships to do stuff. And then I have this cruiser railing at me in the chat. You're a terrible DD player. Go into the cap. And I'm like, no way. I am not going into the cap.
No.
I am in a Grozovoy.
You want to flirt with the cap, man. It's just
Exactly.
like, you want to flirt with the cap. Like, whether you're a dude or a chick, you're trying to get that person, right? You're trying to get whoever you're trying to get. You want to flirt around it. You don't want to flirt directly with it instantly.
Well,
Flirt around it first.
We got behind.
Flirt around it first.
In this game so early. We got behind in this game. They had 2 caps. We were keeping them out of the 3rd cap. Nobody was capping the 3rd cap. And finally, the shimmy that was in there came through, got spotted, and we obliterated that guy. Then the Neptune that was running radar at the time rolls around. One of my battleship guys in my division, I think it was Fitz there, deleted him off of the board. That's 2 boats gone that were right there actionable on that cap. So what did I do? I rolled right into that cap. We capped it, and then I rolled over to the other cap. We killed their other destroyer that was flirting around with that one. I killed that guy, and then we capped that cap. So now we have 2 caps. We have an advantage. We've killed 3 of their ships over the course of a minute and a half, and now we have 2 caps, and now we're back even. And
right.
we
I mean,
ended up
be situational with it, where either you're going to flirt with the cap, and like I said, you're going to want to stay as close to the cap as possible outside of radar after you touch the cap for the initial push. Let your cruisers, let your battleships get into position to be able to attack the proper targets. Because chances are, you touching that cap, if another DD is already in it, the enemy DD, they're going to blow that fucking smoke.
He's gonna.
So guess what happens when you come back in?
Now
that
you know where
smoke's
he's
gone.
at. Not only that, but they will freeze. A lot of times when
Oh fuck yeah!
they will
Especially when
freeze.
you're coming back in, you're battling into a fucking DD.
Yeah.
They don't know what the fuck to do because they've already spent their torps at a battleship or cruiser that they shouldn't have been spending their torps on.
Right. So they will freeze, and I've done it myself. You know, it depends on what boat you're playing. Obviously, Z52 is going to have advantage, you know, because of hydro. You know, some other things. But for most of the players, if there's another destroyer in that cap with them, they will stop. And they will not leave that cap until something is done about this other DD. And you either push into that DD or you leave. I tell you what, I have left caps just because.
I'd rather just leave.
Yeah, just leave the cap. Let them have the cap.
If my DD is going to freeze like that, if a DD player on my team is going to go ahead and freeze like that, I'm going to consider that cap a loss.
Mm-hmm.
Let them cap it, and I'm going to go ahead and pull them. And by pull them, I mean, again, I'm going to pull them to the border, the corner of that border, and make them come with me. You're coming with me, bitch.
Yep.
They're going to deal damage. They're probably going to kill me, but I'm going to take at least 2 out. If there's 5, I'm going to take at least 2 or 3 out.
Kite them out, whatever.
If there's
we
7,
can do.
I might take 2 total out, but I'm going to get my damage done.
Yeah. So I don't remember where I was going with this, but anyway, you guys see what happens. You don't have to rush into the cap right away. Now, some of the lower tiers, you definitely want to get in there as fast as you can, get in, get out, so you can get those early points. Rank season, you guys don't run into that cap early with rank season. You got to wait out that first set of torps. Now with some of these with this rank season coming up, you're going to have a lot of torps. Kamikazes are up in what 25
Kamikaze,
seconds.
Fujin,
I mean,
we're going to call it the Kamikaze group, but
they're ridiculous at how fast those torpedoes reload. So you're going to get 6 torpedoes every minute and a half. So you guys got to be very, very careful. So
so if you don't have those DDs, you don't have the Japanese premiums like the Fujin R, the Kamikaze R, or what the
Kamikaze R and the Fujin.
Yeah, Kamikaze and Kamikaze. If you don't have those, it's okay. you can still get this rank game done.
Yeah.
Flirt with the cap. Let them torpedo.
Play a
Flirt
Nicholas.
with it twice. Let them torpedo. Try to spot. That is going to be your main game as far as DDs are concerned. DDs should only be focused on spotting. If you're focused on spotting first rather than capping, you're going to win many, many more games. It should be spotting first always.
Right.
You're going to win a lot more games with just spotting.
47 seconds on the reloads on those torpedoes, ridiculously fast.
And they're insane compared to everybody else.
And they do
they're at a
damage.
minute 10.
So we were thinking about this for this ranked season, or I was thinking about this, and last episode we were talking about this. Do you want to be that kamikaze? Do you want to be that torpedo guy, or do you want to counter it? That's your choices. Do you want to be that guy, or do you want to counter that? And the counter would be obviously the Grimmy. There's no way that they're going to outgun you in the Grimmy, and Nicholas.
But you're not going to be outspotted.
No, well that's true. But Nicholas and the Grimmy are the two best choices if you're not going to go
run
with
the
this.
RPF.
There you go. Run the RPF. Know where they're coming from. So anyway, let's move on to the next little bit. Finishing out the game. Finishing out the game. Right. So you've got the caps. You're alone. There's 4 other guys on the enemy team, and you have a huge lead. All you have to do is stay dark and run. That's it. That's all you have to do. They can count. They can cap all but one cap, and you're still gonna win. Go put your ass into that cap. Stall it out as long as you possibly can. If you're in a battleship, good luck. If you're in a destroyer, this is mainly for your destroyer guys. As soon as you get spotted in that last cap, get the fuck out. Go. Because they're not going to be able to cap it in time before it ticks over. And if they're on one side of the map, go to the other side of the map, but cap the other side. Just be away from them. There's something to be said. You don't have to kill everybody to win this game. You don't have to cap everything to win this game. All you have to do.
Fuck that. Put on Jekyll and Hyde from Fight Creative Death Punch. Go balls to the walls and kill them all.
There you go. I have.
Yeah, I agree with you though. Just go ahead and run and go back around in fucking cap.
Yeah, go back around. You don't have to engage these things. You don't have to put yourself into where you're going to lose the game. Stop shooting your guns. If you're a battleship, and especially if you have concealment expert on or something like that, stop shooting. You don't have to keep shooting your guns. Now, if you're spotted anyway.
Let me just say that doing extra damage is not going to be beneficial. Getting the win will be more beneficial to you than doing a little bit of extra damage, which you might be able to get 10 to 20,000 depending. That's not worth it in a long run of things from a win standpoint. A win standpoint will be like doing 100,000 damage.
Well,
so you got to keep that in your mind.
Check this out. When we're coming across for damage, right? We could talk about damage if you want to. Damage does give you experience, and let's be fair. Damage gives you too much experience, in my opinion, especially in ranked situations.
100% behind that. 100%.
Especially in ranked situations.
As a player, I'm gonna say right now, there's a lot of other things that need to be buffed.
Right.
Like I think spotting damage,
needs to be buffed.
Spotting mechanic alone needs more XP. And I'm 100% behind that.
Right. So let's put it this way. I was playing the Yu Yang in one game of ranked season, and I know this is totally different than ranked than it is in normal. I had 3 caps, 138,000 damage. I had 2 kills, and we won the game because I went to caps that we needed to cap. And we actually killed people on these caps. We lost the game. We lost the game. I kept my star by 2 fucking points. 138,000 damage, 3 caps, 2 kills, and we had caps at the right times to where we could actually stay in the game.
And
I lost my
it was
star.
a battleship that did a lot of damage.
Yep, I kept my star by 2 points, and this guy that was in his battleship, he was mad because he didn't get to keep his star. And I was like, wow, dude, I did all of that work. That was a lot of work. That was a heavy carry, tried to carry this game by myself. And I only got to keep it by 2 points. There's something wrong with it.
No, Did I complain?
I don't think I don't. Now, we only played a handful of games together.
That many fucking points, I'm just like, God damn. Even during ranked, I got salty when a cruiser took it. But when it was a fucking destroyer, I was like, all right, bro.
That guy had
damn.
to have
You
done
got
something.
Because at that point, I think the one game that I was just like, I just had to sit back and take it in. Of course, I was drunk though.
Yeah.
I had to take it in. I was like, God damn, I did 175,000 damage to Yamato,
Yeah.
and the Yu Yang beat me out for experience, and I was just sitting there just like, what the fuck?
Yeah, the guy did some
Not by 2 points, but it was by 500 while
Yeah.
I was already at 2,100.
Yeah. Well, this was,
I was
we
sitting
were
there like, what
at
the fuck?
I think we're at like 1460 or something like that. I was real close to each other, and we lost that game. But I got to keep my star. I was so livid. I was happy that I kept my star, but I was so livid that portion of experience was so close together that I was only able to keep it by 2 points.
Way too close. You got to do too much work in a DD to be able to
it doesn't feel very rewarding, the rank situation for the destroyers
well,
now.
From what a lot of people don't see is, I mean, go ahead and take a look at the leaderboards. Every game you play, go ahead and take a look at the leaderboards. Chances are, and I'm talking like 99% of the time, it's going to be a battleship or a cruiser.
Oh yeah, very very
Not
seldom
even
was I
bringing
top
carriers
of the board.
into the equation because fuck carriers being removed for a reason. Carriers are broken.
Yeah.
Battleships, cruisers are going to be your number one fucking players.
Yeah.
Unless you're talking about tier 4, tier 3, or tier 5.
Right.
Tier 6 to tier 10, battleships, cruisers.
But anyway, I digress, but I do
go
agree.
ahead and fucking digress.
I do agree that damage doesn't need to be the sole factor in experience,
No,
and
but it
even
is.
if that, and we
It's
were talking
sad.
about experience in that situation. Winning the game is going to give you more experience than that damage that you're going to get. You're going to get 20 to 30, 40% more experience just by winning the game, and you having 200,000 damage and losing the game is not going to equate to you having 100,000 damage and winning the game. The winning the game is going to be more because you're going to end up getting more base experience overall, and it's going to be a faster push to the line so you could get up to tier 10 and then complain like everybody else does.
Yep.
So there you go. All right, let's move on.
I want more people in tier 10 to complain with me, though, because I'm getting real sick of being fucking steak, bud. I'm getting real sick of it.
So let's move on into the last little section here, and then we'll go into question and answering. Give us just an overall run little line or a quip or something that we can remember how to be the number one battleship player in the world. Guys, if y'all don't know what we're talking about, we're talking about twitch.tv/ohjeezums. And if you guys are on Twitter at ohjeezums, you guys can get him. He streams here on Twitch. So what is it like? What's it like, sir, to be the number one battleship player in the world?
It's difficult. You get a lot of doubters, a lot of haters, but you know, we just come through. We come through. We fuck their aunt in the butt, and we get it done. I don't think you can say that on YouTube anymore, but what we do is adapt, change, and overcome.
Right. We adapt to the situation. You change your outcomes, and then you overcome the downside.
You overcome the adversity. Yeah. I think that's it. That's it. I mean, it's just it's something else.
It's the flow of the game. If you could read the flow of the game, you're 9 times out of 10 going to be in the right position where you need to be. If you can be in that right position 9 times out of 10, you're going to get better. You're going to feel better. You're going to feel more comfortable in the ships that you're playing. You're going to feel more comfortable in the decisions that you're making, which frees up the rest of your game. Okay, that's fine. I understand. Yes, don't worry about losing. It doesn't matter. Just get in there and get better at the game, and then eventually you're going to start pulling these wins. You're going to start seeing your win rate go up. With everything that we've talked about tonight, the mentality, if you follow any of these things, follow the positioning, follow the mini-map, follow the priority targets that we talked about, you're going to get better at this game if you want to. That's up to you.
Yeah, I would say, seriously, as a battleship, the biggest thing is positioning, and you could look at a lot of the clips on my stream for the positioning. It really is all about positioning. You can tell when I've been drunk because my viewers love me like that. There's way two different fucking play styles. When I'm sober, you see a different play style and a little bit more aggressive, but passive at the same time, which is weird. How the fuck can you be passive and more aggressive at the same time?
Yeah, that's something that
you just got to know when to when you need to engage, when you need to disengage.
Right.
It's all about positioning and then proper citadels.
Absolutely, aiming is the another part of that 30% that is skill is knowing where to put the shots out.
Fuck aiming, man. Just look at that shit later. Try to get your shots on point, but mostly just positioning. I wouldn't even worry about your aim first. I'll just fucking stay with your goddamn positioning, because that's gonna be the fucking hardest thing. All right, is it Q&A time or do
it
we
is Q&A time? Let's go ahead and go in, and there's a few things that
let's go piss first.
I have a few things, and I'm gonna need to go do that myself, guys. You got a couple of minutes here.
Hey, come up with some fucking good questions. Don't be a little bitch.
Now listen to this. Linser Don says, "Wow, Venom will clearly have any clowns on his stream." And I haven't had you on the stream yet, have I? So what does that say?
Linsar is a fucking clan member, dude. Just tell him to piss off.
I did, but
he sucks 45 dicks a day just to pay his rent. I'm not worried about him.
Man, hey,
dude, this is one that's not going to go on your YouTube channel, is it?
Well, I don't usually. I gotta pay the rent. There you go. You know, I was gonna say that hey, I don't come down to the docks and slap the sailors' dicks out of your mouth when you're working. So leave me alone while I'm working. There you go.
Shit, man.
Either way, guys, we're gonna take a real quick break here. We're gonna run to the restroom, fill up our drinks, and if you guys have any questions, please hit them up with Zipshot and send them to me, and we will address them coming up here in just a couple of minutes. So thank you guys for hanging out with ohjeezums.
Come on with good questions, motherfuckers. Yeah. Otherwise, I'm going to
good questions, man. Good questions. It's always fun.
I gotta get smoked too. I'll be right back.
Woo! Devolving into yo mama jokes. That's good stuff. All right, boys. We're hanging out with ohjeezums here. You guys can catch him over on his channel at twitch.tv/ohjeezums or over at on the Twitter, whatever, at ohjeezums at the Twitter, and it's up there on the screen. Woo! You guys enjoying the show so far? Apologize for not streaming the last couple of days, but man, I have been just tired and playing Call of Duty like crazy, and I got something together today that we'll be playing some more Call of Duty, but it's gonna be after TwitchCon because I've been enjoying that game again, and I've actually figured out how to kill people in normal now. So there you go. It just took me going to the PlayStation to get it done. So if you guys have any questions, comments, or concerns, or anything about what we've talked about tonight, or any explanations or anything else, please send them to me or send them to Zipshot, and he will feed them to me so we can address those and get you guys involved with the show as well. I do not have anybody lined up for next week. There will not be a podcast next week because next week I am leaving for TwitchCon. I will be on a plane to California this week next Wednesday. So we'll wait probably November before we get back for another episode. So I thank you guys for watching so far. And if you guys do enjoy it, please let us know. You guys can head over to the Discord if y'all have anybody that you guys would like me to approach to get onto the Discord, or not to get onto the Discord, but get on the program here. You guys are more than welcome to go over to the Discord and the podcast ideas. Just type those out there, and if there's topics that you guys want us to approach or to give us our opinions, let us know on that side. So there you go.
What's up, fam?
Yo. What up, dude? All right, so now it's time for the Q&A with OJ.
No.
Are you ready for this?
No, it's canceled.
All right, so Pyrules has commented here, and it says, on the mini-map nonsense that we were talking about, also increase the size of the mini-map. You should be big enough that any change in the mini-map is identified very quickly. Thoughts?
Yeah, depending on how bad your eyesight is, just adjust it to where, right to the point where you're starting to see it out of the corner of your eye. Don't over-adjust it. If you over-adjust it, you're actually going to be fucking up your vision on that. It should be right at where you start seeing changes, not as big as you can possibly fucking make it.
Nah, it gets pretty big, and there's a section where it gets too big to small. You know,
yeah, exactly.
Too
small and then too big. But
yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you got to make sure that it's the right size for your peripheral to where you're seeing changes, but it's not affecting what's on your main screen, like right in front of you.
Right.
Just enough to change your. You see the changes in your peripheral. That's it.
Also from the same guy, it says, Danella is doing a great job with the Halloween events. He's really putting his heart and his soul, leading the team, making them. So it's hard work, and it looks good. And I've always said that they've always done a good job on these events, and I appreciate them for what they're doing. Give us another opportunity to play around with this game. Something outside of just raging out at tier 10 the whole time.
Yeah, I hate to see it a third time, because it is the third time over where a lot hasn't changed. But
wow, I mean, they're giving us
dedication into it. So at least there was a lot of dedication into it. It is still a fun game mode. It'll be a hell of a lot more fun than Arms Race. So still happy about that.
Well, there's something to be said about this time around for the Halloween.
I don't mind really playing this over again either.
They're doing a hard mode that's supposed to be harder than the regular mode. So I'd be interested to see. I'd be interested to play that a little bit tonight or tomorrow or something like that. Well, tomorrow is going to be all tier 5 ranks, so I'll probably play it a little bit tonight. Try to get that hard mode done just to see exactly how much harder it is. And is it going to cost us more hit points? I mean, we'll have to figure it out when we actually get to it. But they've always done a very good job. Very good job at these things. Henry the Fourth is now the strongest tier 10 cruiser in my opinion. I am a Zhao main player in King of the Sea and clan battles, but the Henry the Fourth feels monstrous compared to the Zhao right now when it comes to shooting big targets, battleships, cruisers, and carriers. Do you have problems fighting against Henrys?
Yeah, again, like I said, the people that know how to hit that throttle correctly, it's a pain in the ass, without a doubt. And it's probably going to be even more a pain of an ass with the Zhaos, because I think the Zhaos almost have the same shell travel time as a battleship, basically, from their max range. I mean, it might be quicker just because it feels quicker or whatever, and it looks quicker as far as what it tells you, but it's going to be on par with a battleship that's probably shooting 8 kilometers further from you. So just keep that in mind. So I think it's still going to be very hard to hit, especially somebody that knows how to fucking throttle play.
Right.
I wish that wasn't really a thing, but that's what we saw in closed betas. So it's just a matter of getting used to it again.
Henry the Fourth. I have very few games in this thing, but the last game that I played, I was doing things that I wasn't expecting with that. I mean, I citadelled a Bismarck from 10 kilometers with its AP. The guns are 240 millimeters. I was running IFHE on it, so I was really hurting Moskvas that were sitting out. And then I would switch over to AP, and I was citadelling Moskvas from 12 to 15 kilometers away. I was citadelling battleships. This boat is one of the strongest things. And before they gave it the reload booster module or consumable, it was still very strong, but it got even stronger. I think it was underperforming stat wise, so they gave it something to put it up, and now it is. If people will realize it, it will be one of the highest stat wise rated boats in the game. It's ridiculous. All right. Let's see. What's the next one? It says, this one from AWACS Ghost Eye. It says, considering most Tier 10 destroyers have 10-kilometer torps, they can still torp from beyond radar range, I'm assuming, with impunity.
That's not correct, though.
Most of them have 10 kilometers or more, but let's be real.
You would have to know the cruiser position before you shot those torps. And again, most of them are hiding behind islands. So by the time you get into that spotting range, you're already in radar range, and it's just painful.
Right. AWACS Ghost Eye also said, "What are your opinions on lemming trains and the proper strategy if your team lemmings to one side of the board?"
So this goes back to what I said earlier about Tier 5 gameplay, and what I think we're going to see in Ranked is a lot of lemming gameplay. You're going to see that lemming gameplay at that tier. It's the meta. It's what's working. You're not seeing the same gameplay from Tier 10. I think if you are going to, let's say you're not a part of the lemming training and you're basically going to be defense, you need to know that your defense ahead of time. Be ready to be bow out, especially if you're a battleship. And then a cruiser, you shouldn't even be close enough to be bow in to begin with. You guys need to know that you need to be in disengage mode already. DD probably shouldn't even touch the cap, but there should be 3 of you at the very least. Battleship, cruiser, destroyer for that rock, paper, scissors. Make sure you got the 3 of you there. Try to control that lemming train, because their team is also going to be doing the same thing. And deal with that. If it is a Tier 10 game and you're seeing a lemming train on your own team, try to grab a couple people, whether it be 4 or 5 people, even 3 people max is good enough to hold. That's really all you need to do. Be prepared to hold only and just take damage, deal damage while you're pulling them to a corner of the map. Don't worry that you're not doing a lot of damage. Do it for the win. The win is going to give you more than fucking damage will in that situation.
There you go. I just closed out the next question. Stand by. Let me bring it back up. Let's see. Who's going to fill... Wait. Where is the question here? At Zipshot, who's going to fill their shoes? Who's going to fill what shoes? And will there be a stream from TwitchCon? There will probably be one stream from TwitchCon just to say hello and show everybody what I'm doing. There will not be a stream in TwitchCon because last year everybody and their dog was live streaming from TwitchCon and they banned it. So you cannot. I can do it outside of the event, but in the event there was so many people doing it that it took up all the bandwidth and nobody was able. I didn't get messages. I didn't get squat from anything for a good 4 or 5 hours until I left the event, and then I got like 30 emails and shit, So it was so wouldn't be any in the event, but outside the event, maybe at a party or something, that's possible. Undertaker had sent me a message and he said, "What Tier 5 boat, in your opinion, is the best for ranked? Congo or the Koenig? The Tier 5 Japanese or the Tier 5 German? Which one do you think is going to be better?" I said I agree with you. I put the Julius Caesar ahead of the Texas a little bit just because of speed. Other than that, which one's going to be the best? I mean, you have all of them at tier 5 that are pretty strong.
Yeah, I mean the Julius is better with speed, but the accuracy is going to have the Texas. Texas is going to be better at speed.
Caesar's going to be
the
better
other
at
battleships.
speed.
I'm not even worried about.
No. What is my least? Thank you for that question, by the way. Pyrol says, what are your least favorite ships to sail / play against at tier 7 to tier 10? That's a loaded question because what am I driving? If I'm driving a DD, I don't want to see any cruiser at tier 7 because they're just going to poop on me. If I'm driving a DD at tier 10,
tier 9.
yeah, exactly. If I'm driving a DD at tier 10, I don't want to see a Russian destroyer because I have a hard time playing against those guys. They're very hard to kill. I don't want to see this new daring because he's just going to outgun everything. That's pretty much I'm not really afraid of any of the other cruisers out there. Yes, they will hurt me, but I'm not really afraid of them. I want to be effective in my destroyer play, and I can't do that. I can't do what I want to do and bully the rest of the game, say in a Yu Yang versus a Grozovoy, because that Grozovoy is going to eat you up. So, I mean, it'll be a close fight, but he's still going to eat you up.
Yeah, me as a battleship player, I mean, if I'm talking about tier 7 to tier 10, my least favorite would be all of them.
The Boise, the Helena, that Nuevi de Julio. I don't like seeing Fijis. That even though you can dominate a Fiji, they're still rough. Belfast is low on the list because he's probably going to be in a smoke somewhere and behind an island humping over. I don't like seeing an Atlanta. Oh my God, those things are crazy. Pretty much,
especially at close Atlanta, it feels like a Harugumo.
Oh, Jesus Christ, man!
It's just stupid. It's stupid.
My favorite boat in this game is the Atlanta. I have almost 2 million experience in that boat alone, and I have another 1.4, 1.6 million in the Flint. So that's the same boat. I play that boat a lot, and that is a whew.
You know what? If I had to pick a ship between
boat.
tier 7 and tier 10 that is my favorite, my absolute favorite would be the Iowa.
It's a good boat. I've
always loved the Iowa.
Once I got the Missouri, I sold my Iowa. I didn't see a need of point. If I'm going to play tier 9 battleships, I'm going to play the Missouri most of the time.
See, I got both. Yeah. I got both and still play both.
Yeah.
Fuck me.
All right, guys, we're gonna take a few more questions here because then I want to get into some games before he's got to go. Because I know he's got a busy day tomorrow. You got some driving to do tomorrow, man. I don't want you to be fresh.
Yeah, I'll get up when I get up, man.
There you go. All right.
Dude, I gotta drive almost 11 hours tomorrow. They can fuck themselves.
Yeah. Lancer Don's asking, what is the best destroyer versus a daring? Right now I have not played the daring yet. I'm still at tier 7. And I have not played in 2 days, so I haven't been able to pound through any of these things yet.
Yeah, I mean, if we were looking at like purely statistical and purely coding, as far as like what should be pinning it, and pinning it well with absolute damage would be the Yu Yang or the Kabarov, and we're just not seeing that yet.
It depends.
So I think it's a broken ship and broken armor at this point. I'm not sure.
Don't sleep on that Z52. Let me tell you something about the Z52. If you can bait this guy into popping his smoke, and you pop your smoke right afterward.
Yeah,
there's so many ifs,
there's
ands, or buts.
There's too many ifs to make the Z52 an absolute.
The problem with the Z52 versus the Daring is that the Z52 HE is trash. That boat thrives on its AP and getting those
if you're in the
destroyers
Daring, then all you got to do is just
win. Yeah.
How many DDs are you going to see? I mean, especially playing a Daring right now that are going to be broadside to a Z52 of all things.
The problem, Pyros brings up a point here. It says the daring can't heal the Z52 AP. That's not the point. The point is that he's going to bow into you, and you're just going to bounce everything off of that daring.
Exactly. You're just going to keep bouncing.
So Z52, unfortunately, is one of my favorite DDs at tier 10, and I ranked out on it last season. Not the one that just passed, but the season before that. I really enjoyed that boat. I think that the Z52, as strong as it is with its AP, it's not going to be able to compete. The only thing that I can think of that would compete with the daring right now is an IFHE Haragumo that you're just running away from this guy and he's chasing you down. That's the only way that I can.
Haragumo is definitely going to destroy it.
That's the only thing that I can think of to get it.
The HE and the HE pen alone from that is going to set it above everybody. The Haragumo right now is the most OP ship. It needs to be dealt with. Beyond that, then you got a power creep from the daring as well. So you've got, like I said, and that goes back to the power creep I was talking about earlier, with the Shimakaze and the gearing being power creep so hard against. So
yeah, they're almost hard. They're almost worthless to play almost at this point. As a CV
unless
player,
you play them as purely torque boats, and who's going to play a gearing as a purely torque boat? It's too hard power creep that it's just impossible.
That's right. To destroy the evil, you must become a bigger evil. As a CV player, what is the best way to maximize tiers? What you do is you go in there and you start feeling all of the tiers come out. Then you bottle those tiers and make sure that they're little kids' tears, because little kids' tears cure cancer.
And then drown yourself in them.
So make these little kids cry. I'm talking about the 10 or 11-year-olds that talk like this, and one day their balls will drop and puberty will happen. I swear, it'll get bigger, guys. And then you bottle that shit up, and then you just drink it, and it'll be perfect because little kids' tears cure fucking cancer. There you go. So if there's any more, I think that's all of the questions here. That is it. OJ, thank you very much.
Pretty shitty questions, though.
Well, I mean, they were okay questions.
No, they were pretty shitty questions.
Well, I mean, they
could have come up with better, but you know.
Yeah, you guys got to work on that for next time, right? OJ, thank you very much for hanging out with us. Tell them where they can find you, and tell them what you've been working on, and so on and so on. Now's the time to promote yourself, bro.
Yeah, so I've been working on trying to masturbate at least 35 times a day. Because I heard that
you do it 2 or 3 times
at 60.
You do it 2 or 3. Well, I mean, you're gonna be rubbing holes in it, man. Yeah, well,
I'm trying to break that mold. I don't know, man. I'm not working on much. I'm just being me and happy being me now. I finally fell into my mold. Finally,
there you go.
I'm still playing battleships, mostly higher tiers. I want to make sure that our higher tier battleship players are on par, and I hate to say it, I'm that average guy, and I think a lot of people could be better just by watching me. As far as the high tiers battleships go, everything else, if I start playing DDs, cruisers, or anything like that, don't fucking watch me, because goddamn, dude, that's gonna be some dumb shit.
Man.
But other than that, I've been playing some fishing games here and there, and just enjoying what I do, and just taking care of my dog, my car, and
there you go.
2 motorcycles.
Guys, y'all can head over to his channel, twitch.tv/ohjeezums. You guys can catch him. Do you have a schedule or anything? Just whenever you feel like it, right? Whenever you feel like it. Let me tell you this, guys.
I try to be on after work. My normal work day usually ends right about 5:30. Sometimes I'm on earlier. Sometimes I'm on later.
There you go. But you guys
normal work day just doesn't exist because I control the entire state of Virginia for my IT, which is over 15,900 square miles. That's a lot of area to cover.
That's a lot of shit.
As one person, and like I said, I got to go to Stewart, Virginia tomorrow. That's a 5-hour drive.
Astoria? I got a ticket in Astoria.
No, Stewart.
Oh, Stewart.
Yeah, it's in fucking meth country, southwestern Virginia. I'm over. Anyway, so I'm gonna go out there, have to deal with meth heads while I fucking tackle my way into a network room, just do some network work, and get the fuck out before I do some meth. Because apparently you just fall into meth out there.
I tripped and fell and smoked this bowl on the way down.
Yeah, I tripped and fell, smoked the whole shit load of meth. It ruined 85 years of my life. I ain't got no teeth.
You guys head on over to twitch.tv/ohjeezums. Also, he tweets it out. He'll tweet it out when he goes live, I assume, at
Don't do it.
at ohjeezums over on the Twatter. So OJ, man, I appreciate you coming on, man. We had a couple of drinks, man. I drank.
It was good. It was good
I drank quite a bit of this vodka, and some vanilla Coke.
But it's quite a bit though for you. Is it like 1/32?
I don't know. I got a pint of vodka here, and I got to the I got to the label.
Show me.
I got to the label, man. It's right there.
As he shows the goddamn airplane bottle. Hold on.
It's not an airplane bottle. I told you.
no,
You said go get some, man. I got some.
That's a good one. Nah, yeah, I told you. I was like, you know what? Fuck it. You don't have to drink bourbon.
Nah, well, I don't. I wouldn't drink it anyway. Anything that has a dark color to it, it makes me sick. But either way, OJ, I appreciate you coming on. Episode 7 Across Your Bow podcast is now in the books. This will be up if you guys are missed any of it. It'll be up on YouTube tomorrow. YouTube.com/SirVenomIK right there on that link. And thank you. Let's say, yeah, exactly, guys. Guys, so we're gonna stop the. We're not gonna stop the show, but I'm gonna go cut to an ending screen for just a second, and then I'm gonna start playing the music again, so we can get a nice, good, hard cut there. And in fact, I'm gonna add.
Yeah, and before we go, can I just say your chat's been awesome. Hey, love you guys. Hope everybody has a great night. If you got to go to bed, but goddamn, you guys were fucking champions.
There you go, man. I appreciate you for coming on, and I know everybody else is. Hey, man, feel free to come back anytime. Just let me know. So just be like, hey, Venom, I want to be on your show again. It was.
How about you just let me know? I'm not reaching out to you.
All right, well, fine. It takes a lot of work to continue that number one battleship across the world.
One more cheers, but let's send her off right. Hey.
Well, I don't. I'm out of that one. But anyway, yeah.
Oh, what the fuck?
I'm out. I didn't have any.
Oh, you, god damn it!
I drink too, these motherfuckers, man. Come on, that's more than I've had in months. So you'd be happy that I got any of them.
Yeah, I know. I'm just trying to get you on my level.
Oh, here, check this out.
I want you to open up.
Check this out. I got you. I'll do a shot for you.
No, don't do it. No, don't do it.
No, it's doing it. We're doing it.
Because then we gotta play a fucking game.
That will be okay. I'll play the game. God, this is gonna hurt, boys. Hey, salutes. Hey, episode 7. Fuck off.
Hey, episode 7 was the best episode so far. Cheers, everybody.